Mayor this evening. Thank you, Pastor Spurlock.
If we can, let's all pray. Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we approach your throne of grace tonight. We want to thank you and praise you for your many blessings. We thank you for watching over us and everything that we do. Father, we just ask you once again to lead us and guide us and direct us in this meeting tonight. Father, let us clear our thoughts, clear our mind, Father, Lord, and let's just operate, Lord, what you'd want us to say and want us to do. And Father, at the end of the day, Father, let us always know that we've honored you in our decisions. Bless this council, Father, the decision makers they have to make, this administration, Lord, that they have to do. Father, the citizens, Father, we just thank you, Lord, for each and every one that's represented here tonight. Continue to bless our homes, continue to bless this community, Father. And Father, once again, just lead us, guide us, and direct us, Lord, in every thought, every decision must be made, once again, to honor you. We ask all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you so much.
Now I'd like to call the November 4th Committee of the whole meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Mike?
Here.
Tim?
Here.
Larry?
Here.
Amber? Here. Daniel?
Here.
Misty?
Misty is on vacation. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now I seek approval of tonight's agenda.
I actually, there's a slight change on item A of the old business that needs to be corrected. That should be 30.05 and 31.03.
31.03.
Yes.
With that change, I'll make a motion to approve.
Looking for a second.
Again, that was 30.05 and 31.03.
31.03.
Replaces both of them.
No, just 30.05 and then
Okay.
and 31.03 instead of 30.06.
Second.
Roll call.
Tim?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes. Next, I seek approval of the October 7th Committee of the whole minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Larry?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Next, I will accept or entertain comments from our citizens, and please hold your comments to 3 minutes or less.
You're right.
Tammy Graham, 1984 South Penalto Road. Council members and fellow citizens, this is a continuation of the issue with public trust, fiscal accountability, and compliance with Arkansas Constitution. Recently, the Washington County Circuit Court ruled that Mayor Angela Russell violated Article 12, Section 5 of the Arkansas Constitution by using public funds, specifically $15,079.95 for private legal fees. The court further declared that this act constituted an illegal exaction and permanently blocked any similar future use of public funds. The ruling has now been settled and the principal amount has been repaid and attorney fees were awarded. I'm asking the city to see the taxpayers be made fully whole, including the repayment of interest for the time those funds were improperly used. When public funds are diverted, even for a short period, Arkansas law is clear. Full restitution includes interest or benefit derived from those funds. Not recovering interest leaves the taxpayer subsidizing private legal fees contrary to the express findings of the court. In other words, it was an interest-free loan taken from the purses and wallets of hard-working, responsible taxpayers of this city. The release signed in connection to the settlement applies only to the single transaction at issue and does not bar taxpayers individually or collectively from ensuring full restitution to the city. This is a matter of public money and constitutional duty. I request that y'all find out when we are going to get paid our interest back. It's that simple. All right? If you'll do that, you will uphold your responsibility and protect taxpayers from further abuse. Thank you.
Anyone else care to speak?
Mick Wagner, 409 Pennsill Avenue. Council members, Mayor, good evening. City correspondence shows that city funded a phone, more particularly number 479-439-3019, and it was activated on November 11 of 2022. Alderman Piazza stated in an email that she had received the device sometime in December of 22. However, she was sworn into office on January 3rd of 2023, so it is a little unclear exactly if she took it before she was sworn into office or not. Alderman Piazza, in the same email, confirmed that there was no council authorization for this and there was no reimbursement on her part for use of a city-funded phone, and this period existed from sometime late December, early January 23 through May 13th of 2025. Records show that it was turned back in, but I am uncertain by the records provided through FLIA of whether or not it was returned to the city or returned to the carrier. Additionally, neither the 2023 or 2024 budgets include authorization or footnotes approving a phone benefit for aldermen. I've confirmed this with several of y'all who have your own phones. On September 2025, case number 72 CV 2526, taken up by the Washington County Circuit Court, found that the public funds in that case were used unlawfully and permanently enjoined unauthorized signatures. Tonight, I respectfully request the council to, 1, verify the exact physical issuance date of this phone. 2, determine and publish the total taxpayer's cost of use of that phone as charged by the carrier to the city. 3, obtain voluntary reimbursement to the general fund for the use of this phone that was not authorized. 4, adopt a policy requiring the city council's approval, budget line items, and public disclosure of any technology device or the benefit provided to elected officials. This isn't personal. It is to ensure equal treatment, public trust, and compliance with the Arkansas Constitution and, of course, recent order. Thank you for your time.
Would anyone else care to speak?
I do have someone online.
Someone is online? Well, proceed.
Good afternoon. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. My name's Kenneth Lovett, 18702 Clearwater Road. Unable to be there tonight because my beautiful daughter has had a grandson for me. So I felt it was more important than being in person there, even though I'd love to see each and every one of them. But today I'm talking about a point of order. And a point of order is specifically, let's see. In Robert's Rules of Order is a way to immediately draw the chair's attention to a breach of the rules or a procedural error Without needing to be recognized for a second to raise a point of order, you stand and say, and it says you stand and say, Mr. Burris needs to read his rules. Arise to the point of order.
Point of order.
Simply, point of order, and then state the problem. The chair must then make an immediate ruling, which can be appealed by the assembly if the member disagrees with the decision. Is his point of order approved or is it not, Mr. Barry?
Well, I'll have to study this for a second. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to continue then. But my point is that we continue to try to keep people from speaking that aren't in the city limits, but we allow people that are in the city limits to attack Ms. Piazza, to attack the mayor, and continue to dig into business that's none of their business. They are citizens, but it is none of their business to be digging around in phones and in all this stuff that they keep digging in. And Mr. Wagner needs to carry his fat ass home. Thank you very much.
Point of order.
Point of order.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Point of order, Mr. Artemani.
Point of order.
Second.
Y'all need to learn how to do this point of order.
Point of order, Mr. Artemani.
Point of order taken, Mr. Lovett. Would anyone else care to speak? Seeing how, oh, right.
Good evening. It's good to see everyone again. And thank you too for calling a point of order. You did a good job.
Name, address?
Gene McCartney, 1158 Steel Road. You know, one of the last things that I did with council was to call everyone that was going to be on council and give everyone just a little synopsis of what I thought would help. And several of you that were coming on council were able to attend because you had not been placed in the position yet. And I hope it helped. That's something I didn't get when I came in. And I hope that gave you a little bit of leg up, so to speak, coming in here. This is one of those times when you need to make sure that you are doing what I used to call as my due diligence. Everyone I have told in the past is always do your due diligence. Don't always listen to every rumor around you, but follow up yourself and do your due diligence. Don't listen to anybody else that's just rambling. Check yourself and look for the facts. And if there's mistakes, mistakes happen. I've made mistakes, I'll admit it. And everyone else will make mistakes whether they admit it or not. But it's your job as councilman to make sure that this city flows. Thank you.
Would anyone else care to speak? Seeing none, we will proceed to old business. First, we have a discussion of an ordinance to amend Tontitown Codes 30.05 and 31.03. Amber?
Okay, so last month, Mr. Montez added an agenda item about possible updates to our code regarding the placement of prayer on the agenda, as well as public comments from both citizens and non-citizens, a topic that I appreciated seeing on there. So thank you, Danny. After that committee of the whole meeting, I decided to do a little research on how other cities, especially those known for running smooth and efficient meetings, structure theirs. So my goal was to see what ideas we might borrow to help our meetings run more efficiently and be respectful of everyone's time, since our meetings at times can be a little lengthy. In the process, I spoke at length with a representative from one city that's often looked at as the model of how to run a great city council meeting. And this particular person said that they are considered the gold standard of running a meeting. So anyway, from that conversation, I came away with just a few small changes that I think could make a noticeable difference for us. We all value public input. Hearing from our community is an important part of what we do. But one thing I noticed across most of these well-run cities is that they have just one designated time for public comments. So with that in mind, I'm recommending a small change to code 30.05 and 31.03. Specifically, I'd like to see us combine our public comment opportunities into one section during our CAL meetings. During that time, any citizen or non-citizen would have up to 3 minutes to speak on any agenda or non-agenda item. Of course, since council members and department heads are always accessible by email, phone, text, or in person, people will still have plenty of opportunity to share additional feedback outside that 3-minute window if they need to. This small change would help us keep our meetings moving smoothly while still ensuring we're hearing from everyone. That's really the purpose of our CAL meetings, to learn, listen, ask questions, and decide whether to move items forward for a council vote. I'm also suggesting a similar change for the public comment section at our regular council meetings, since people will have already shared their thoughts during the CAL meeting and there's time between meetings to follow up. I'm proposing that we move public comments to the end of council meeting. This would help our council meeting stay focused as a business meeting where we vote on items that have already been discussed and reviewed. Moving comments to the end still gives people a chance to speak about other topics or new concerns they may have. And then lastly, I'd like to keep Danny's proposed placement of the invocation right after roll call in both CAL and our council meetings. That's it.
Public comment? Council? Oh, I'm sorry.
Danny Graham, 1984 South Penalto Road. Please share with us the name of the city and the person with whom you spoke.
Actually, I have it written down at home, but she was a recorder in Rogers.
Rogers. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I will be happy to email you her name.
You would?
Yeah.
That would be nice. Thank you.
Council?
I just had a couple of questions. I was pointed to section 1443-501 of the Arkansas Code that deals with this issue a little bit. It says the members of governing body elected for each city or town shall annually in January assemble and organize the governing body. Subsection C, 2C, the governing body shall determine the rules of its proceedings and keep a journal of its proceedings, and the journal shall be open to the inspection and examination of any citizen. So do we wait until January? I mean, I think this might be a legal question. I mean, I don't know that it matters, or are we stepping out of line by, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't actually know the answer to that either. I was always under the impression you can change code anytime, but.
Yeah, and does making this an ordinance, you know, if we decide to change it, obviously we'll have to rewrite another ordinance, which I don't guess that's an issue. So I don't know. Do we need, it'd be nice to have somebody at the end of the table to answer the question for us, but.
I can answer your first question. We have changed the agenda before.
Right.
With prayer, and we are allowed to change it.
Okay.
Yeah, the way I understand it, the mayor's absolutely correct. We can change it whenever we'd like. If we change it now, we ought to change it again every January. I mean, maybe not change it up, but at least approve it.
Vote on the same thing.
Right. I think that's what you're pointing out there. That isn't something that we've been in the habit of doing every year like we should. So we should be on that. But yeah, I do believe we can do it. But if that's true, then I think it might beg the question, do we do it now and then do it again in January to do the same thing? Or do we table it until then? I'm not necessarily opposed to it. Could I ask you a couple questions about it?
Sure.
So are you proposing then that there are no other comments at each agenda piece?
Yes, it just consolidates comments into one section There was no other city that I spoke to that, that had several times for citizens to comment, and just
Okay.
kept their meeting flowing smoothly,
Okay.
and was still giving opportunity to speak on
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, I actually like that idea, and that's how we used to do it. I think it allowed things to move a little more smoothly. So I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I'd like to hear what Councilmember Montez thinks, since he was the one that brought it forward the first time.
Well, I'm looking at it on both the committee of the whole and then this order of business, and does it spell it out explicitly that there's no comment section at each old business and new
does.
business?
Yep, in red, it says for both order of business for council and committee of the whole, public comment will be
The
limited.
star at the bottom?
Right.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
gotcha. Will that be adopted inside?
Yes,
guess
yes,
each-
this is added to code.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike, you bring up a good point of, we're gonna have to adopt this at the beginning of the year, but, we did do prayer earlier this year. So I don't see us having an issue whether we passed mine last council meeting or we move forward with this one. It kind of does the same thing. I like that the cow has public comment before we go into, old business and new business. And then I kind of like that city council, it's completely at the end. That even comes after city council and mayor comments. It might be better to have that above those two, just so that if the public has any comments that they address to the council and the mayor or city council or city attorney should have any kind of feedback that they'd like to give out in their report, they wouldn't have already missed that.
I like that.
No opposition to that.
But it still keeps it at the end, But it gives the mayor, city council, and city attorney a chance to address anything that was brought up in that public comments during city council. So if I were to make a change, I think I'd do that.
You'd move M before K?
Yes.
That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's a good point.
And then again, if we change it now, and then we just re-adopt it in January, I mean, pretty much get a 1-month trial.
Well, if it's the right thing to do, then the right time to do the right thing is right now, if that's what we're going to do. One area where I am still a little concerned, and I say this all the time, and then I say something that makes me sound like the thing that I said isn't true. I'm a First Amendment guy. I do think that people have a right to free speech, but I think that free speech lives in certain spaces. So I think what I used last time was I can't go to a school board meeting in Massachusetts and demand that they make certain changes because I don't pay taxes there. They don't care anything about what I have to say. I do believe it's important to hear from the citizens. I think one of the things that we've lost sight of, maybe we haven't, but we get out of line a little bit, is that this is city business. We are here to do city business. This is the city family. This is the Tontitown family, and we're here to do their business. And so we need to hear them. But when the neighbor comes over and starts a ruckus, it may still impact our citizens. But if a citizen isn't saying it and a neighbor is, that could be problematic. So I don't want to say that, well, nobody, can speak unless something, right? But if we could say something like, taxpayers, you own land here, you own a house here, you own a business here, you run a business here, what you have to say is important to us. We often hear about things that are ancillary that are here, but they're people that are not citizens. Again, I don't necessarily want to disenfranchise anybody, but I think what we unfortunately do is we disenfranchise our citizens by allowing non-citizens to speak. So I would rather that if a non-citizen has something they'd like to communicate to us, they email us. As I mentioned again last month, I get emails all the time from as far away as Alaska, no joke, from people who will tell us things like, you need to fix that, whatever. You need to fix the police department. You're stupid for doing this thing. Like, what crazy stuff. I'm so sorry, people in Alaska. I don't care what you have to say about our city. And unfortunately, if we open this up to public comment, those same types of people can get on on Microsoft Teams and address us, and they can drag it on. But you guys just recently got an email, I think, from somebody like this, that something happened, that they didn't like what happened with how the police department handled something or whatever. So I don't want to open that door. If we can help it, I would rather the verbiage is limited to business owners and taxpaying citizens of Tontitown. Now, if you guys can't get behind that, that's fine. I'm happy passing this like it is. But I would prefer that.
Where would you, I can get behind that, but where would you submit that in?
I don't mind the comments being exactly where they are, but instead of it saying public comments, and in fact, at first read last Friday, and I might be missing it now, yeah, it says, I'm looking at Committee of the Whole, so 30.03, it's the top of the back of the page, right above G, it says public comment, and then it uses the term citizens, which is why I asked Councilmember Ibarra what she meant by that. But I think that should change to say citizen comments. And we can leave it at the same place. I think you're right, Councilmember Montez, to put the city council citizen comments before we hear from city council, the mayor, and the attorney, so that we could address. And then the other one, I think, is it makes sense at the Committee of the Whole, which again is digging into the nuts and bolts of things. I like that being up higher. I think that was a great idea. Councilmember Ibarra, thank you for that.
Well, I think that we need to also know that the surrounding citizens do pay taxes here in Tontitown. Like I said at the last meeting, they go to our restaurants, they go to our gas stations, and it's not like people coming from Alaska. It's people coming less than a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, sure. I understand that, but.
I'm sorry, I was speaking.
Oh, go right ahead. I'm sorry, Mayor.
Thank you. And I just feel like that we do not need to shut them down. We had a planning commission, which was a mile around the city.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do that.
Right. Well, I mean, that's something that we can consider. Obviously, the planning commission thing has changed as that state law has changed. So that's going away. We don't have that anymore. And there are lots of people who come through here and buy gas and pay us taxes, or, they want to come to the Venetian Inn or whatever. And that's great. We appreciate that. But it's not the same. If I go on an Alaskan cruise, I'm paying taxes to Alaska. But again, they're not going to let me comment and tell them the way that they ought to do their crabbing business.
Understood.
Okay. So
I would make a motion to add those changes that were discussed earlier, including making that citizen comments, and then making the move that Councilmember Montez had mentioned earlier. And if you guys are okay with that, that would be the motion that I would put out there.
Second.
roll call?
Hang on a second, if you don't mind. I fully understand where you're coming from. It just gives me a little bit of heartburn. And there are people that come up here, that have been up here before, and I get it. We don't get along with what everybody says, don't appreciate some of the things that happen. But there are people that have been coming here that are not citizens, that may be affected by the decisions that we make, but they care enough to show up when we have 8,000 other people who can't even bother to come to a meeting. So, and I think we need to leave it as public comments. We can address it in January. If it doesn't get any better, we've already talked about, we'll address it in January and set the order that time. I just do not like eliminating anybody's opportunity to speak, because we can learn from people who don't live here too. So. And
to your point, I think you're right. We can still hear from them, but by letter, by email.
I get that too, but I don't like taking that away. I don't, and I don't like everything that I hear that comes off the podium either. But people probably sitting out there probably don't like everything that I've got to say either.
No, that's true. I'm not trying to be punitive. I'm not trying to point at any particular individual. We heard from an individual earlier that it does fit that category. But that's not what it's about. It's, again, if we're letting our citizens, they get an opportunity to speak. Non-citizens, I understand the point, but there is a motion in a second on the table, and we can vote accordingly. But I'm fine if we keep talking about it as well.
This is Councilwoman Ibarra's draft. I mean, I don't know, I guess if we have a motion to amend your draft, I guess that can be done.
I can answer that question if you would allow me to.
Allow.
So there's a motion on the table and a second, and Mr. Burris had added in there citizen comments. So if you don't agree with it, then you would vote how you feel.
Chief, I see you've walked it. Do you have a comment?
Briefly, hopefully. Obviously not an attorney, very far from. I think some research might be needed into that before making a decision, just my opinion on it. Previous conversations, and I'm digging back in my memory on this, but I remember a conversation piece of if it was one or the other, is either citizen comments were allowed or no citizen comments were allowed. That I think we're getting into an area that restricting any kind of speech in here could come into a First Amendment issue of trying to say who can come to the podium to speak versus who can't. And I don't think there's, I understand the point too. They could do other means to submit in email, letter, or other forms of communication, but some further research might be needed on that.
Well, and you may be right. So let me say this. We make changes to try to fix problems, right? It's how a lot of things happen. Or we notice something that maybe was one way before and it's not now. Our meetings are out of hand. We have citizens, like we heard one earlier. I don't mean to be talking to you, Chief, but you happen to be standing there. No. That wants to personally call out another citizen, right? That is very much against our rules. The reason why we have started saying point of order is because the meetings were so out of order that I asked our attorney, what could we do? That was one of those things we could do. So I know it's not easy. I know it's hard. But when we have presiding officers, and if a presiding officer lets one side beat up on people and not others, that has to change, right? So maybe you're right, and I certainly don't want to do anything illegal, but I will say this. If it's wrong, and we've done the wrong thing, we can fix it in January, right? If by the way, we go to research it, and we go ahead and just keep it like it is until January anyway, that doesn't impact me one iota. I don't mind. Again, I don't mean to be talking to you. No. We can do whatever you guys want to do. I can be amenable on either side of this. I like the changes that Councilmember Ibarra and Councilmember Montez mentioned. And again, I can get behind that. If you guys don't like this motion, you have every right to vote no on it, and we can see where it goes.
If I can get one last comment, I'd just say, the way that we have the motion on the table pretty much correlates with what I had brought. So that's why I seconded the motion. But honestly, once I heard Chief talk, I'm almost for no comments whatsoever, just like the Planning Commission. But we do have a motion and a second on the table, so I'll let the meeting proceed.
And this is with the amendment to change it to citizen-only comments. Is that correct?
And the location of comments at the council meeting to be right before ours.
Basically switch it K, L, and M.
All right, roll call.
Amber.
I'm going to say no.
Daniel.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Mike.
No.
Larry.
No.
I'll make a second motion that we vote on the new changes to the order of business as presented by Councilwoman Ibarra, moving public comments on 30.05 above or 2K, and just pushing everything down the letter.
I will second it. Oh, he beat me to the punch. Go ahead. Either one.
Roll call?
Hold on. Okay, try it again. Amber,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
That one passes.
Next, we have a discussion on the city's organizational chart. Mike?
Okay, I have one amendment to the chart and only one amendment. And also, when this was presented a month ago, Mr. Eichmann drew up a resolution. It was forwarded a month ago to be put into the packet, but I did not re-forward it. So I do have that resolution. If council will indulge to accept that resolution that goes along with this chart, I can pass that out. But the change to the chart, and there's only one, because as I looked at the code, I think I can only make the one change. But change administrative assistant where it says support to shared resource. And I'll tell you why that we're doing that. Eliminate support and just put shared resource. The code 30.54 for administrative assistant, Part A establishes the administrative assistant exists within the city. The salary is defined by the city council and the budget set. The administrative assistant will be responsible for a variety of administrative and clerical duties necessary to run city offices efficiently. These duties include assisting the appropriate city officials in planning, scheduling meetings and appointments, organizing, maintaining paper and electronic files, 2, handling travel and schedule arrangements when requested, aiding the appropriate city officials, creating spreadsheets, composing correspondence, managing databases. The administrative assistant may also assist the appropriate city officials, and the duties and responsibilities may be modified by ordinance from time to time. So it's clear that the administrative assistant should be a shared resources among other persons within the city. The Part 6 also says the administrative assistant shall be supervised by the mayor, who shall direct, supervise, and control the administrative assistant's day-to-day activities. Therefore, the administrative assistant, with the change from support to a shared resource, is the chart that I'm looking to have approved. And you also have the resolution. Again, this was drawn up a month ago. Everybody knows I missed the last city council meeting. So, if you guys don't mind with this resolution.
So,
May I make
yes,
a
ma'am,
comment, please?
Please.
The only thing that I saw that was wrong on the organizational chart that's here presented to us is the code enforcer reports to the building inspector. The building inspector reports to permits. The way that it should be is that should be one big box for those 3 because they all report to the planner.
I mean, if we want to lump them into 3 in one box, I don't have a problem with that. I just see that they all flow up from the bottom to the building official. It doesn't make any difference to me if you want to change it to put all those into one box. That's fine.
When I took the class, or when I had the meeting with Dr. Boyer, she gave me that information.
So do we want to change that? I mean, I'll take council's input on this too.
Do we have public comment on this
Sure.
item?
Is there anybody out there that has any public comment pertaining to this org chart?
Yeah.
Okay, now council?
Mayor, is this the organizational chart that you presented, or is this the one that Mr. Washkowiak presented in front of us? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, mine looked a little bit different, but it was in a funky format, so that's why it was tweaked a little bit.
So where does administrative assistant then show up on this organizational chart?
It stays here.
Oh, it stays there.
It's
Okay.
gonna stay there.
And then to the mayor's point, under the planning and building box, Mayor Russell, if you can correct me if I'm wrong here, you think there should be a permits box that goes to planning and building, a building inspector box that goes to planning and building, and a code enforcement box that goes?
Just put them in one box as well.
One big rectangle, it's one box.
And that one box is all four of those, or is this?
No, it is permits, building inspector, and code enforcement
That's
because they
one
all
box. Okay,
report to the planning department, Mr. Spurlock.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And then the only other thing that I kind of have a question on is, last meeting, we reinstated the code enforcement, last meeting, we reinstated, I think it was the code enforcement officer position, or discussed it. And in that same removal, we removed the admin assistant. Is it a problem that we clearly do have an admin assistant and we have one here on the organizational chart, and we don't have that position in our code, or am I just?
When did we take admin assistant out of the code?
Back in July, the mayor had asked that we remove
Building official.
Yeah, I
And-
think admin.
And the administrative assistant because they were in the wrong section.
Okay,
They were in the wrong section.
that didn't apply to anything. Basically, I'm just wanting to clarify that doesn't apply to anything.
No.
Okay.
So there's no admin assistant in our code anymore. Is that-
Well,
It was in
That's
the.
what you're saying?
Actually, she moved to HR, the administrative assistant, and then mine was administrative assistant to the mayor.
Okay, so that's a different position that's not on the org chart? That was a question.
That I do, it's not on the org chart, no.
Okay, so
No,
you,
it's not.
wait, okay.
So we
now
had
I'm
two.
confused.
We had two assistants, and there was assistant to the mayor, and then one for the city. Now we changed that to HR and then assistant to the mayor.
Okay, so the admin assistant, who is this on this chart?
I'm assuming that would be Megan now.
Okay. Okay, and that
That
would be.
helps if I give
is-
names.
Is that what you're indicating, is that?
Yes.
Okay, so Megan would now be a shared resource for the city?
True.
Okay. All right. I did notice on the org chart, there's one misspelled word, sorry. Citizens at the top is misspelled. That needs to be corrected. And then if we go with this resolution at the bottom, it has October. We need to change that to November. But I am amenable to make a motion to approve with that box. That's permits, building inspector, code enforcement. The changes for November of 2025, and citizens spelled correctly at the top of the org chart. Sorry about that. And anyway, I will make a motion to approve or send that off to city council with those changes.
Second.
Roll call.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Amber.
Yes.
Moving on.
Next, we have a discussion and presentation on cellular meeting read. Mr. Clark.
As I did a couple of months ago, I've got some people here to talk a little bit about fixed base meter reading. This time is a cellular option. We're still trying to move in that direction. It's going to benefit the city greatly, at least the water department. We either need to add like half a dozen employees or we need to automate some more of our work here. But anyway, This is not the same guys that were here a couple of months ago. This is Travis Norris with Schulte Supply. They are the Neptune meter rep, and he's going to give you a little bit of an overview of cellular meter reading. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So James, thank you. As James said, my name is Travis Norris. I work with Schulte Supply. Just a little background there. Schulte is a underground utility supply company, pipes, valves, fitting, hydrants, you name it. But then probably our most important line is our Neptune meter reading technology and Neptune water meters. Schulte's been in the industry for 35 plus years. When I started 20 years ago, we covered half of Missouri, Southern Illinois. And in the past 20 years, we've taken over all of Missouri, half of Kansas, and just about 2 years ago have become a distributor for Neptune here in Arkansas. Big reason for our partnership with Neptune in Arkansas is Schulte Supply's approach to meter reading systems and Neptune's approach to meter reading systems are the same. We look at it as a 20-year partnership, something you're going to put in the ground and build on it over that 20 years. A big part of that too, that partnership is we're considered what's a tier 1 distributor for Neptune, meaning that we have a system sales manager in place, which is myself, a system implementer, Lisa, which you will be hearing from here in a little bit on the software side, an area sales manager, Parker, who's kind of your local representation that routinely calls on your customer and make sure everything's taken care of, follow up as needed. That's a big part in it. In the past 5 to 7 years, you've seen this technology become more and more acceptable in this industry. And in that time, you've seen more and more companies you never heard of or seen kind of show up in this space. And just as fast as they show up, a lot of times they're not going nowhere. Neptune, if you're not familiar with them, have been in the industry for almost 135 years. They're the only major meter manufacturer that owns their own foundry inside the United States, located in Tallahassee, Alabama. And a big part of that partnership too, on top of that foundry, they own their from top to bottom engineering, development, design of both the radio reads, the radios, the registers, and the software and the hardware to read it, they do in-house. So a big separating for Schulte Supply's Neptune, because everything's done in-house, we work on what we call a backwards and forwards migratable path. So what that means, if say you had Neptune in the ground today, utilizing drive-by, much like what you have now, is if we come here and say, hey, we're looking to make these software updates, plus start to implement cellular, you could deploy these and it all works seamlessly together. We wouldn't abandon any of the assets you put in the ground. So Neptune kind of works on a role that, hey, whatever we put in the ground from a meter infrastructure standpoint, we're always going to be able to read moving forward. Plus we build in safety nets so we can grow as we need to. Today, we're kind of looking at the cellular, which has gained traction, I would say, over the past 4 or 5 years. Neptune's been involved in the cellular space for almost 10 years now. We're actually one of the first people that had a cellular radio within the industry. The big difference between Neptune and, say, some of my competition within this industry, we never sold it as a full system deployment. A big reason for that is your first technology was 2G, 3G technology that had basically a shelf life on it, and we knew it. So where we look to utilize cellular was in spaces where you had an industrial customer that you wanted to see daily, 15-minute interval, what was going on with that customer, be able to identify high consumption. Some places where we have traditional RF AMI fixed networks where your collectors couldn't touch everything, you could backfill with cellular. So that was kind of the initial approach to it. Now as technology has advanced and things have moved forward, everything you see on cellular operates on what we call an LTE-M network that has a longer shelf life, or basically things in place that, hey, we're not going to revisit 5 years from now and say, hey, your radios are obsolete or you need to update them. So that's been a very unique thing. And then two, in about the past 6 months, Neptune made a large breakthrough. We, one of the few at the time, I think we were the only, some other people might have done it, but we have a multi-carrier radio built into our cellular radios. So most you see on the market's either Verizon specific, AT&T specific, some out there for T-Mobile, which causes issues with hey, which one works where, if outages happen with some networks, or 2, inventory. With that one radio you see there, essentially you're going to hop on Verizon. If it doesn't talk, AT&T, if that doesn't work, T-Mobile, and from there, US Cellular. So you kind of have a 4-time redundancy of that infrastructure network out there. That one you don't have to deploy because it's cellular, so you're not deploying RF structures that you have to maintain, take care of, and looking at a big capital cost up front. But also you have that backup of all 4 of those networks. So it's giving you good reliability on coverage. Another unique thing for Neptune as well, I won't say only because I'm not 100% sure, but one of the few that have an RF backup. So for some reason that cellular radio out of all 4 of those networks does not find a connection, it will jump back to an RF signal. You can take out a drive-by reading equipment and go grab a reading for billable purposes. Once that reconnects to a cellular network, it will backfill up to 96 days of data. So that's kind of the high overview of it. But the unique thing, and as you pass the meter around, for years, all water meters had 6 moving dials on them. For almost probably 10 or 12 years now, you've seen high resolution readings. So that water meter there registers down to 1/10 of a gallon. It knows minute levels of what's going through the water. And it transmits down to that 1/10 of a gallon. And by doing that, it's able to grab data, interrogate itself throughout the day, and let you know what we call consumption flags. Neptune first generation said leak flags. Got to wait from the word leak, because you say leak to a customer, you open up a whole different can of worms. So you have what you call intermittent consumption, continuous consumption, as well as backflow events that occur. So 1/10 of a gallon goes through that meter backwards. The utility is notified of it. You have a major reverse flow, and then you have a minor reverse flow. On top of that, you go into a customer inquiry screen. You can see down to the 15-minute interval through the day for the past 2 years, the consumption for a customer. As this technology evolves, there's more and more things you can see with it as well. You're seeing some of our model meters have pressure capabilities and temperature capabilities that you can deploy throughout the utility to monitor pressure and see if there's a drop, to help identify possible leaks in the system or pressure issues, as well as the temperature. People always say for freezing, but it's more of certain temperatures you're operating, algae and different things that happen in the water. So just know the quality of your water. And the nice part is all that information is dumping back to what we call our Neptune 360 hosted software. That's utilized by the utility. Lisa has a snapshot of it up, and I'll let her kind of dive into it a little more here in a second. But at that snapshot, you can take a glance, see your system-wide consumption for the past 7 days. You can look at KPIs, which is your consumption flags we discussed, your major reverse flow flags. You see your top 10 consumers. I feel like I'm still in Lisa's under. But you have that capability to look at things. But then too, she'll even dive deeper, where you're seeing more and more people jump into what we call district metering. So by being able to read these meters throughout the day at the exact same time, you'll see people place large meters throughout their system in district, off in different quadrants, and then create groups behind those meters that help you identify possible leaks in your system, because you can see what's pumped through that mainline meter versus what goes through that customer meter from the backside. Trying to save time here. Any major questions or thoughts? I was going to maybe kind of pass it over to Lisa. The software side you see on the screen there, I mean, that's really what brings it all together. Everything talks to there. That provides the analytical data back to your clerk, as well as then there's a customer facing portal she'll hop into as well that gives some functionality and capabilities to the customers.
Travis, you might let them know that we are in a demo.
That is correct. So we've started a pilot program as well. The nice thing is you do have a handful of meters that were Neptune already. So we supplied cellular radios to plug and play to those, as well a handful of complete radios. Like you see there, that's what we call our R900i. These radios integrated onto the register, so there's no separate box. A nice appeal about that is your radio's deeper in the pit, so if someone does hit the lid or do something like that, they're just damaging the antenna and not paying the fee to replace the node or cellular radio, whatever you call it there. As part of that demo, Lisa's been monitoring and doing some other things. And two, like I said, the biggest thing is just that approach to it. City chooses to move forward with us. It's a commitment, a partnership. Actually, myself and Lisa have been down here half the day today, working with the city, popping pits and looking at meters and doing some troubleshooting for some stuff that's not coming back to the system correctly right now. That one's not even our reading system, and some of it's not even our radio. But at the end of the day, if things work well for our customer, we can help them get into a place that benefits them, it generally benefits us. But yeah, that pilot's running now. There's a handful of people that are on that customer portal. I think Lisa might have a few screenshots of that, and then she's going to pull up some full systems that are fully deployed with cellular, so you get a better idea what it looks like if you migrate that way. Any questions?
Council?
Oh man, y'all been asking so many good ones. I'll pass it to Lisa then.
Do I need to use that mic? Can you guys hear me? Okay, I thought I had pretty loud mouth.
You might need it for public record.
Okay, sorry. So this is, like you talked about, this would be what you would see from the utility side. Daily, you'd be able to come in, you have your consumption flags and whatnot here. So if this changes significantly, all of this is just, you select it and you can see the list of customers. This is going to give you a feedback of daily consumption. You can look at that. If something spikes dramatically, then you know to go look at those occurrences, and you can notify a customer on a much more rapid base rather than once a month when they get a huge bill because there was some occurrence that took place at the beginning of the month right after readings took place. You also, this is all customizable. You have the ability to show up to your top 50 customers. This is a customer that you can see they have their master meters plugged in here where they're reading them, so they can see how much is going through those meters daily, and they don't have to go pop lids to look at them. That's your dashboard. From all of this information, everything that comes back into here can be pulled into a report form. All of it is capable of being exported to be saved as a PDF or Excel document for easy usage. If you put in latitude and longitude in your system, you can actually see where the meters are located in our system. That's going to feed in, and you can see all of that information as well. From there, like he had said, you can store up to 2 years of data from any of this stuff. You just click on it to dive in to see more information. From this point, you can see this particular customer had continuous flow going on. You see that occurrence right here. You can notify them. Once again, all of this information can be exported out. You could email it directly to a customer to show them what was going on. If you wanted to get down to that 15-minute reading, you can do that on a level where you can see exactly how much was going through that meter every 15 minutes. So that's all information from a customer inquiry standpoint. And he was talking about the pressure and temperature. That is information that's going to feed back into your system as well. And that's going to store in your system coming in hourly, just like the consumption. And it does take a little bit to pull up, but you would see that information coming in. You can set thresholds with all this stuff, and it will send you email notifications if you choose to, if you want to see problems that are going on. Inside that as well, you have multiple reports that you're able to utilize to look at things in a lump sum area. One of the other things that we had talked about was district metering. You have the ability to customize your dashboard where you can actually put in, if you had district meters, you can put in your system consumption wide here. Sorry, I didn't have this pulled up yet. So here I have 2 different system consumptions. This is going to be my total system, and this is broke down on a monthly basis rather than a daily. And then I have my larger meters, so like my master meters or my district meters, where then I could look at that and see exactly how much water went through that in comparison to the rest of my system, so that you can look for potential leaks and things like that. One of the other things is this is what the customer dashboard would look like. Your citizens would have the ability to sign up, register, where they could go in and see their meters. And they have the ability to set up alerts. So if they're going to be out of town or anything of that nature, if they want to make sure that they're not consuming too much water on a daily basis, they can come out here and turn it on and allow themselves to be sent emails letting them know that they've used so much water over a period of time or daily. You have the choice of setting it up. And then they would also be able to get on it anytime and look at their usage. There is some ability for customizing in here as far as the view, and you can click on it and dig right into your hourly consumption. And this is all a web-based application, so you can utilize it from a mobile device or a computer, and you have all the same functionality. And if you have multiple accounts, it's really nice for people that possibly like landlord-tenant situations. If you have one landlord that wants to know what their rental properties are using, they have one single login. They can add all of their accounts to one location, and they can jump around to those different locations and see what's going on at their rental properties. That's a really nice feature for people that have multiple properties, or somebody that maybe has a vacation home here, so they're not here much out of the year. They can still see what's going on at their utility. So, do you guys have any questions for me?
I do. I'm familiar with the other system that y'all didn't allow to thank the full presentation earlier this year because you didn't have your agenda on time. You may recall that. Do you have a bullet point that says, wow, you're better than, what's the competitor's name, James?
Badger.
Badger. You seem to be familiar with that.
We're just better than them.
Yeah.
No, in all honesty, Badger has a very good system. I'm not going to sit here and bash them and say they don't do things well. Badger, when I kind of cite, hey, there's been a lot of systems turned up in the past 5 to 10 years, and a lot of them disappeared. Badger is one of my main competitors that have been around for some point in time. So yes, they do have a good system. You do your due diligence on Badger, though. They're one of the people when 2G, 3G technology was deployed. They were actively pushing full system deployments for utilities. So there was a number of utilities that went out by hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of meters, didn't have them for 5 or 6 years, and then was approached and said, hey, 2G, 3G technology, it's obsolete. Unfortunately, your radios will no longer talk to the cellular towers. There's nothing we do about it. For this fee, you can buy a new radio to hook to your meters and go up and running. So from the cellular side, that's probably their biggest downfall. And then two, if you date back even RF, that was kind of always their MO. I've been in the industry for about 20 years. When I started 20 years ago, I think it was Greenleaf or Green Tree was what they called their reading system. And that's how they did their drive-by technology, fairly similar to what you do today. 5 or 6 years later, it became Raymore. So they come up with the latest, greatest software, reading equipment. Hey, buy this, it works. And then, oh wait, it doesn't read meters past this date that you have in your system, but I'll cut you a deal if you buy all new water meters. 5, 6, 7 years later, they came out with Orion, which was their new drive-by system. Their Orion system says they even had a couple generations within it that aren't compatible with each other. So probably our biggest separation is Neptune's forwards and backwards migratable path. Essentially, any cash register you put in the ground, we're going to always utilize it with the reading hardware and software you're seeing today. Perfect example I'll reference from my old area before I took this position, St. Peters, Missouri, 30,000 services, had a meter system before I started with Schulte Supply 20 years ago. They upgraded to this software 3 or 4 years ago. They had meters 18, 19 years old in the ground. We still could capture readings from those water meters. Same for St. Charles Public Water District number 2 that had 44,000 services. Same for St. Charles that had 20,000 services. So the biggest kind of probably like I said, the selling point is we're always going to put something in the ground you're going to be able to utilize.
Pardon me.
Yes, sir.
You're a good salesman because you deflect and talk a lot. My question was a bullet point of what the points are. I'm very familiar with you.
Like I said,
about 5,000. We can talk about history. I'm talking about today, the
Well,
current state of affairs. Do you have anything that outlines, we do this better?
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear the history. I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, I could put together some bullet points for you and do that, not a problem.
Because I think it's unfair that you have an opportunity to have a full presentation and no fault of maybe anybody here except who didn't get the agenda on time, but you didn't get to hear the full presentation of both competitors. And once again, I'm not taking
They're coming back next month, by the way. They're coming back next month.
Okay, great. So that they will have their day in court.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I want.
Yeah, and so perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions from you all in regards to?
Yes, your data retention, how long does that, it's 2 years?
2 years in the cloud.
Okay.
There is options for fees if you want to go back farther, but kind
Okay.
of 2 years seems like that's the
Pretty
point.
good. Okay. Wow. I thank you for your
Okay,
presentation.
well, thank you all for your time. I appreciate it. Like I said, very, very receptive. If there's questions, don't hesitate. My cell phone's on my card. Or if it's, hey, you have a meeting or you go to bed at night and think of 100 other questions, I'm more than happy to come back to another meeting or call me directly and we'll go from there. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I was going to give you more free ones.
We like it.
Yes, fire me, y'all. Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, next we have a discussion of updates on Garber projects. Mr. Larry Gregory.
Good evening. First of all, I want to apologize for not having exhibits ready for y'all. COVID did a number on my household and I got behind, so I apologize for that. I told Mr. Clark that we could come back in 2 weeks and present to the council if you'd like with better information. But I'll just go down these real quickly. RDOT has several projects that are going to widen Highway 112 from Fayetteville all the way up to north of Cave Springs. 2 of those affect Tontitown's water and sewer systems. The first one is RDOT number 040860, which is basically from Western Trails Drive north to Pine Avenue. That's the southern section of Tontitown's water system in that area. Your system goes just south of Kissinger Avenue. In that region, you have roughly 10,500 feet of water lines ranging from 2 to 8 inches that will need to be relocated. The plan is to combine some of these because you might have a 2-inch water line and a 4-inch water line 6 feet away. It's just they added an extra water line when they needed it. So looking at combining those. There is precedent for RDOT to allow you to put in larger lines in situations like that and being reimbursed for it. But we're looking at an estimated cost of around $2.8 million for those relocations. Don't have a number for you about reimbursement percentage, but from everything I've seen, it'll probably be around 90 to 95%. So, next one moving farther north is RDOT 012305, which goes from Pine Avenue to Highway 612. Your system goes north to Barrington Avenue. You have roughly 1,200 feet of 15-inch sewer, gravity sewer, 3,300 feet of 8-inch gravity sewer that'll need to be relocated. Those will be replaced in kind, 8-inch for 8-inch, 15 for 15. Right now, there's roughly 9,600 feet of 8-inch lines with 8,600 feet of that being along the western edge of 112. The plan is to upsize that one to 12-inch. That will greatly improve capacity in that system. And without upsizing that, we're looking at a cost of roughly $7.2 million. An upsize in this situation would not be reimbursable. RDOT would pay for the 8-inch, but not the difference in the two. And I think that would be about another $300,000 to go up to a 12-inch line. Any questions so far?
Let me make sure I understood you.
Yes, sir.
Number one, that second one, 012305, you have 1,200 feet of 15-inch and how many feet of 8-inch?
Roughly 3,300.
3,300. And you said if What was the 9,600 feet of 8-inch lines, and 8,600 were west? Those numbers don't add up to me.
8,600 feet along the western edge of the road of the highway would be upsized from 8 to 12. The remaining 1,000 feet are lines that are going across the highway and tying into other things that upsizing would not make sense for those lines.
Okay. And they don't reimburse if you upsize?
Correct. They would reimburse for the amount of replacement, but not the difference in the two.
All right, thank you.
So then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
How much of the 7.2 is reimbursable? You said 95 on the other one.
I think
so
it would probably be 90 to 95 also.
Okay. Thank you.
They are considerably widening the highway, and it is meandering. So it's not a situation that would, ideally they would widen one side, but they're going back and forth, and really it's better to have a even in areas that technically may not need to be relocated. But if you would have multiple connections at 100-foot intervals, it doesn't make sense. So it's just more places for leaks.
So then the overall estimated cost?
The overall to do all the upsizing and replacement would be around 7.5 million.
Okay, and of that 7.5, how much of that is reimbursable?
7.2.
Okay, so the whole thing costs us $300,000 based on
$300,000 plus the 5 to 10% of the 7.2 that would be your share.
Okay, that's a big number. Okay,
it is. It is. Hopefully, it'll be 98% or 99, but it's up there. The final item is the Barrington lift station, which is at the southwest corner of Barrington and 112. RDOT is encroaching on that lift station, making the city unable to expand it as need be. The plan is to abandon that lift station, install roughly, if my numbers are right here, 18,000 to 19,000 feet of 18 and 21-inch sewer line, running along Brush Creek over to where they can tie into the existing trunk line to NACA. So that's 71 manholes, $12.25 million. This is what James was able to get an earmark from Congressman Womack for $12 million. So that's a good chunk of that cost. Also, I believe RDOT has agreed to pay, what was it for the lift station itself?
Well, that got combined.
That got combined. Okay. I was hoping you'd say it was in addition, but so there will be some cost. However, by doing away with the lift station, you eliminate all the maintenance, all the electricity, labor, everything associated with a big lift station like that.
Did you give us a price on abandoning that lift station?
Abandoning the lift station itself, we think would be about $250,000.
And then running the 18 and 20.
And then the total project, which would include the abandoning, is about 12.25. And those are strictly construction costs.
No easement.
No easements. No construction engineering, inspection and all that. So.
This might not be a question for you, but impact fees, would any of that be able to be used to help?
Yes.
Thank you. James, if you could remind me, our impact fees on sewer, what are we at? Are we at 100% implementation, or are we still at 15?
We're at 50%.
50. So if we were at 100, we had that money coming in, we might have a bigger chunk of change sitting off to the side to help us out with
We
some of
would have a
this.
little more, yes.
Gotcha.
I do want to say, I mean, these are very preliminary. I'm hearing these numbers for the first time tonight. There's going to be much more discussion about this, obviously, before we get to any construction. So I will ask Larry to send me this information. I'll put it in an email to the council so that you have the numbers to look at. And also, I think we can get some PDFs of the
Absolutely.
Of the site. So I will pass those on to you in the next day or two. But just kind of wanted you to have an idea of what's coming up as far as water and sewer and the 112 widening project.
I appreciate it. Now I'm using Chief's GM quote to write all that down, so if you can get that to us, that'd be great.
Any more questions? Council, that it? Thank you, Mr. Gregory.
Thank you.
Next, we have a discussion of a resolution to allow the police department to purchase a vehicle. Chief Jennison.
Council, earlier, I believe it was April this year, we had a unit that was involved in an accident, was a total loss. That unit was one of the ones that was purchased through the lease program, so the insurance funds from that unit went back to the lease to pay that vehicle off. So we have sat on that for a minute. We had hired that officer driving that vehicle is no longer employed with us, so we had hired a replacement for that. That officer's coming out of the academy the 13th of this month. We'll go back into his field training, so this is just us coming back to ask for a replacement back to that vehicle. Don't confuse those numbers you wrote on there. It's not.
Oh, no, yep.
Down at the bottom, the 72,236.
Yes, so there's the Superior obviously sells vehicles, and they also offer emergency vehicle upfitting. So it is an option to do a package deal to buy this vehicle as a upfit through one location. So the $54,000 is for the vehicle itself. That is state bid pricing. I believe it's actually a little bit under state bid. And then there's another quote in there for emergency vehicle equipment upfit. Total price is what was wrote at the top.
And we're getting away from Chargers and
Chargers, the last year model that they made those was in 2023. They have not come out with one back to the police market. We had purchased Durangos. We have not had good luck with any of those. Of the 5 2023 year models that we have left, 3 of those have new motors that they've blown up. There's been a recall on those. 2 of them were caught and repaired. The recall was fixed prior to the engine going, but I think we've got 3 of them that have new motors in them. All of this is under warranty, but there's still one in the shop now. So, and that's the 3rd time on that one. So we've not been happy with those for our needs.
citizen comment?
Thank you.
Council.
I got a quick question. How soon, if we approve this, how soon can you get that unit? How soon do you need it?
So what I always try to do, the unit that I've been driving, Monday is going to get striped graphics put on it. And so next week that'll be available to go into the fleet to an officer. So as far as the wait time on this, it doesn't hurt us on the getting it out into the fleet side of things. So.
They have these in stock over there, do they not?
When I got this quote, they had 10 black and 10 white in stock at the time.
He knows it, and he's probably getting ready to tell me.
Budget.
Where's that money come from, Chief?
Oh, it is not in budget. Yes.
Oh,
that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So we have been utilizing 988 and impact fees towards our purchases for the last couple of years. So just being at the end of the year with the other purchases on vehicles that we've done this year, we don't have. The lease program is what, excuse me, where it's benefit of spreading that cost out over the years. The negative to that is if one is a total loss, we do not recoup any of those funds. It goes to paying off the difference on that vehicle. So that's where this is. We don't have the insurance funds to go back towards a replacement vehicle.
So we probably don't want to do a lease in the future. As far as this money goes, I don't see Mr. Pinalto here, but we need to figure out if we kick this to January, which probably isn't going to work well for you, or we find that money in the budget today. I don't know where to find that money. Do you have any ideas, or Mayor Russell, do you have any ideas? Can you speak to that, Chief? Mayor?
Find the money for it. I know that Ms. Arnold.
What was that?
About the budget for the police car.
I can't hear you. You're talking to my
The budget for the police car, do you have that in your financials down there?
I do not.
You do not? Okay.
Let's get back tomorrow on it.
Okay, so let's talk about, is this something that can wait until January when we have a new budget in place, or does that not work?
It can. What our challenge has been with this is our spare vehicle fleet is aged. They're 2017 Chargers with 130 to 140,000 miles on them. It's just miles on them. The engine idle hours are 6,000 to 8,000 hours on them. So the money that we've been putting into those to get them and to keep them operational, it's really not worth the continued investment into those. So for me, that's something that I can drive in the meantime, and we can make that work. But we're open to either.
Well, I appreciate that. I want you guys to be safe. I want you guys to have what you need. You know that I've historically done whatever I can, and I don't want to change that now. If we can get that money and we know where that money's coming from and we can see that, then I don't mind voting to approve this at City Council in 2 weeks. But I also really want to know that we've got the money for it.
So are you making a motion with that caveat?
Yes, I will make a motion with that
If
caveat.
I could, before a second,
Yeah.
the impact fees that you spoke of that we've used in the past, do we have any of that that's?
Not enough to cover this cost.
Okay, any of it? 20,000, 10,000, 5?
There is some that have recouped back in there. I don't know where it is being the end of the month. I don't know that Pat had those in. I can get those numbers.
Sitting here thinking, I'm sure there's some in there. I mean, do you recall what we used to have in it before?
I don't. The last time that we used it was the last vehicle purchase when we did the trade-in. That cost was covered with the impact fees, and then the upfit of that was covered by the 988 funds.
Right, correct. I do remember that. Okay. All right, it'd be interesting to see if we've got some there that we can use. Would anybody, I think Mr. Latham would be probably the one to ask on this impact. Do we know where we're at on public safety impact fees? Are we implementing that at 100%, or we
They
still?
were put in at 100%, yes.
Very good.
We've been at 100% since.
There you are.
Yes.
Chief was hiding you. I didn't see you there. Thank you.
Sorry. I'll second the motion that Mr. Burris made with the caveat that we're satisfied with the funds aren't going to cause any undue hardship. Thank you. Financials. Thank you.
Thanks.
Roll call.
Tim,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
in the city.
Next, we have a discussion and a presentation of the 2026 budget. Mr. Latham.
I drew the short straw, so I'm going to be making the presentation on the 2026 budget. I've given you several pieces if you want to, I wrote a memo basically just outlining some of the highlights is what I'm going to go over. Because much of what has been, will be presented tonight is based on I believe was a guide I gave you, but you guys never moved it forward to the council. I don't know why, but maybe we'll bring it back to y'all. But let me just say I want to thank Mayor Russell and Pat Penalto and department directors for their assistance and due diligence in preparing the budget. I will tell you, I know there's, we spent a lot of time individually going through each one of the line items to make sure that we understood what they were requesting and making sure that they're doing their due diligence when it comes to appropriations. The budget started off where department heads turned in goals for this year, so it reflects on what their budget really represents. It also includes their capital and fixed assets, as long as any additional personnel. Secondly, the framework of the budget that I've been working with for over 40 years is that 85% of the projected revenue would go to allocate for operating expenses. We are basically holding on to the fact that less than 50% of the operations in the general fund will be allocated for salaries. And I think you see that it's 47.7. On water and sewer, it's a little less than that, it's 20%. I think we're under that too. Thirdly, the large capital is based on the revisions of the 10-year capital improvement plans, which I closed in for you. And it's been updated. There is a 3% increase established in the budget for salaries. And staff will follow the protocol which this council approved last year regarding the salary administration guide, which means that all employees, except for fire and police, I know the ones that I'm responsible for, will have a evaluation done and then also looked at how that evaluation relates to what their increase would be. The general fund reflects a conservative increase of revenue of 10%, which is $5,954,000. This reflects an overall estimate of the 2025 general revenue, which, if you look right now, is going to be estimated at $6,212,187 by the year's end. The city continues to experience increase in sales tax, franchise tax, and property taxes. We have conservatively estimated an increase in the hosting fees. As you know, the council did approve passing on the $2.50 on the hosting fees. James and I were out meeting with Waste Management. Was it last week or the week before? I don't forget what it is. Anyway, they are interested in looking at it, but they're going to keep what they have right now until they know for a fact that no more lawsuits will be moved forward on it. So just want you guys to know what they stated to us. The overall city general operating expenses, and this is pretty good. When you think about inflation, is 2.71% compared to 2025. I don't know if you find another budget in Northwest Arkansas that's doing that. This includes an investment of 2 additional fire personnel and 1 replacement, 1 additional police officer, The museum is requesting additional hours to a part-time employee, and we are requesting a part-time employee in the parks. Water and Sewer Department reflects an overall conservative increase of revenue of 8%, or $5,431,000 compared to the 2025 budget. This actually reflects a lower estimate than what currently revenues are estimated at by year end, being $5,698,317. The operating budget reflects an 11.3% increase. Part of that really has to do with the increases from our suppliers, which includes not only water but sewer. It also adds 2 employees and $101,000 in fixed assets. Street Department reflects a conservative increase of 10% compared to the 2025 budget. The operating budget has no increase for 2025. Fixed assets are allocated for a Mini X machine, which currently we're sharing machine with Water and Sewer. Administration Department, we're allocating some capital for the update of AV equipment here in City Hall. And there is one reduction of personnel that goes to the community development. So you can see a little less when it comes to salaries in the administration area. In the police department, as you know, we're continuing to move forward on the construction of a new police station, which was approved by the bond issue. Investments in fixed assets are 3 new police cars and 1 additional officer, which we're trying to keep up with the growth. The fire department is preparing for the ISO inspection this coming year with the additional personnel requested and a new engine and some other related fixed assets. Hopefully will account for a Class 3 rating. A lot of pressures on Ryan since he's requested all this stuff. So anyway, that would be very big for this community. Talk about saving on your homeowner's insurance. That would be big. Community development, as I mentioned, assume the role of not only code enforcement, but HR. We're going to continue to train in those areas, so you'll see some training dollars in there for the new roles. We need to do an update on the handbook this year. It's been about 3 or 4 years, and there's a lot of stuff in there that needs to be updated. And then we're going to complete, there's a spillover of that Heritage District that you'll see, and actually in contracts. Street Department will continue on its 20-year street maintenance plan. We will need funding for 20% of the grant for the Artemani sidewalk, and then also the Barrington 412 utility and right-of-way. We're also, I just talked to the hazardous mitigation grant group today. Of course, that doesn't come up till this spring, so we are looking at doing some major improvements on Spinoto. That is a very wet area. Water comes over that road. It's narrow. Just need to do some improvements there. So that's going to be our major stormwater project. As you know, we've been picking them off. So that's what we're going to do this year. Parks and Rec continues to grow with the development and leadership of the Parks Board. We got a great board, I tell you. The city is currently waiting on the results of 2 grants, which we haven't heard. I thought we'd hear by now, both on the community center and the splash pad. And as I mentioned, we're asking for a part-time employee. The main reason for that is 2 reasons. One, once the community building gets open, somebody's going to have to maintain it and program it. And 2 is that we need to start some more events, and a lot of the older generation who likes to volunteer and do things are basically retiring out. And so therefore we need to have somebody that actually coordinates that. Water and sewer, as you heard from Larry, we're going to focus on the Barrington gravity line and the relocation efforts along the expansion of 112. Other efforts, which is one of our goals, is to look at upgrading the 2 and 4 inch lines that we have in our service area. And we can do with our own staff to do that. And you heard a presentation of AMI. It's something that we need to be moving towards. I will tell you in just the brief discussions we've had, you'll be able to pay this AMI off within 5 to 6 years of investment. And it gives, we'll show you some numbers here of what it actually cost, not only for the truck rolls that have to be done. I saw today, I mean, when you got 30 to 40 that you're going to have to reread, and then sometimes you have to roll trucks to turn water off, turn it on. That can all be done automatically and doesn't cost a truck roll, which can be expensive. Some of these truck rolls can be 2 hours long. So our guys need to be actually maintaining our system instead of fiddling with, people that we can't read their meters and stuff. Just a reminder, I know if you want to dig into the weeds, I call them dig into the weeds. If you want to look at more detail on each one of these items, then I would suggest we have a workshop. But just a reminder, remember, our purchase policy was passed. Anything above 20,000, you guys have to approve. Any contract has to be approved by you all. Okay, so we have purchase orders. Anything that purchased has to be written down, signed by the mayors, and approved. So I feel like that we've got a good budget, and it's hard. You can point fingers and you can do this and that, but here's my advice to you. First of all, I don't think any of us ever been a police chief, and you have no idea what it takes to run a police department. So when Chief Corey comes up here and talks about what he needs, I don't know how to question him. I really don't. I've been doing this a long time. It's the same thing with the fire chief. I mean, have you actually had some gear on and actually gone to a fire and understand what the whole operation is when you go to a fire and try to put it out? These guys are the ones that know what they need, not want, need. That's the key issue. It's the same thing with water and sewer. I mean, have we gotten to a sewer manhole and figured out what's going on? That doesn't sound like a really pleasant thing to do, or be on a water line break at 20 degrees and freezing to death. There's just some things that I think we all need to realize, and I'm open to doing some kind of workshop if that's what you want. But I will tell you, this is a very good budget, and I hope that we can move forward in any way you all wish to.
Citizen comment. Citizen comment.
I'm a citizen.
Council comment.
I just had a couple questions. Thanks, Mr. Latham. I think it's a pretty good budget. You did answer one of my questions. I would like to workshop, and I mean, I know it's a hard ask because I've been covered up with stuff, but I'd just like to see some of the stuff that went into it.
I think part of the confusion has been, and just to kind of give you a perspective on this, I know that people would like to see more detail, maybe line item type stuff, and that's fine. We can do that. But Gene's right here, so he's probably got more history than I do. But when talking to Pat, the former, not you, okay, the former mayor, they used to have a lot of detail. I mean, there used to be a lot of accounts. Like if you have an automobile expense here, how much is that for tires? How much is that for brakes? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So according to Pat, when the former mayor came in, he said, let's get rid of all these things and let's put them together. So that's what that's what it is today. Now, if you want to try to expand that, we can do that. I'm just saying is that was a protocol that was established, maybe 6 years ago, 8 years ago, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not questioning what anybody's done. I'm not saying anybody's trying to hide the ball from anybody. I'm just, I think the point you're getting at is the more transparent we are with where the money is, the more satisfied everybody else is going to be. So, yeah, if you don't mind, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you guys want, Tim had suggested maybe doing a workshop, which is fine with me. I don't have any problem with that. That's fine with me.
We're not hiding anything.
Have to shoot for, I can't do it this week. There's no way. Monday night. Whatever date that is, if that's the 10th, yeah, the 10th.
I have no issue with it. When are we meeting? The 10th during the day?
When's what, Larry?
I don't know that I can do it during the day.
The attorney thing?
Oh, it's a different.
I don't know. I'm not involved in that.
What attorney thing?
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm available on the 10th.
I'm available on the 10th.
I'll make whatever date y'all pick, make it work.
You said Monday?
Monday, the 10th, yes, sir, the 20th.
What time?
5:30, 6
That's
o'clock,
I
whatever.
would probably also say, a workshop might not be the solution. It might be multiple. I mean, we've got until, I think, January of some time or maybe even February
We'll see how
to
it
approve
goes
this.
Monday.
But, I mean, we can start with one and see how far we dig into it. But if it takes too long,
I do have a couple of other questions, and it's kind of related to the budget. The community center, I see we're asking for grants, but, I mean, we passed the bond issue to pay for that, so are we coming in way over what the
Well,
bond
we've
is?
applied to the state grant for, I don't know if you remember, it was over
Mhm.
$500,000. We have not heard anything, yes or no.
Okay,
So I would like to wait on that.
sure, that's great.
The same thing for the splash pad.
Okay.
So until we actually hear yes or no, or maybe a little less, then we'll come back and make that decision.
Okay, that, and then we commissioned a group to do some kind of study on the Heritage District a couple of months ago. We got any feedback from them?
Where's Brad? He can give you an update on that. I haven't.
It doesn't have to be tonight. I was just wondering because, that was $40,000, I think.
Yeah.
Close to 50. So, and I'm sorry,
No.
this is the last thing. No questions on that. I'm done.
Did you
What time do you
say
want to meet on
5:30
Monday?
or 6?
Yeah, what time?
How about 6?
And my only issue with workshops, and we did one, 2 or 3 years ago, they're fine, but let's not get lost in the weeds and into, why did this tire cost $134?
Well, I mean, last year we didn't get lost in the weeds. We just,
Right,
and
exactly.
I don't know if you guys saw, but, look at what the general fund has basically produced this year. Just look at the bottom line. It's a lot more than 2%. So I think we're doing our due diligence. I really think we've got some stuff in place. And if there are some specific questions, what I suggest you do, instead of just coming and thinking that, we can go, we need to really know what the protocol is that you wish you want to do. Do you want to start with the administration budget, and then we'll go through that? I hate to get it too kind of wild, but the other suggestion would be is this. I mean, if you feel like that we're not doing our due diligence and the next year you want to have a budget committee, then I suggest you do a budget committee, and then you guys can complete the budget, and that's fine with me. I have no problem with that, but that's up to you all.
No, I'm not making that suggestion at all, that you're not doing your due
But
diligence. I
no,
think
no,
you
but
are.
I'm just saying is can we have an idea about what you want to look at Monday so I can prepare everybody for it?
Well, I think there are increases in just about everybody's budget, right?
Some are decreases. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all. we
Okay,
want. We
just
want
highlight the ones that are
justification for
increased and say why they are.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's just as simple as that. I'm not trying to bust
Okay.
anybody's chops over anything, because you're right. I mean, if Chief says he needs a new vehicle, then yeah, I want to get him a vehicle, but at the same time, you know where we come from too.
Yeah, I don't know how much,
dollars.
I don't know how much impact fees. I know we've taken in quite a bit this past
Well,
month.
I did look that up. We've taken in at the last council meeting, the financials for police, the impact fees to year to date was almost $71,000 that was taken in. And I'm sure some of that's gone somewhere else. What I couldn't find was the remainder that's in that.
The remainder in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was almost 13,000.
Well, I know we
taken in
had,
on-
I don't know, Brett, how many? We have 12 permits, 15, 16 out of Bariloche, so you can figure that's, you know,
Yeah, there was almost 13.
2,500 times that.
Yeah,
So,
13 taken in the month before, so it's averaging about 12 to 13 a month. So, in using that math and rationale,
Mhm.
you could almost pay for it by January, not quite, but.
Okay.
Thank you,
Anyone
Mr.
else?
Malcolm.
All right, moving on. We have a discussion of an ordinance to rezone approximately 5 acres on Fletcher Avenue from C1 light commercial and agriculture to C1 light commercial. Brad?
Thank you, sir. Good evening, council members. Want to let you know, if I can address Councilman Wojciechowski real quick. We did meet with Prism. Prism sent us out an engagement. Would like to do another engagement with the community. The last one they did was during the Great Festival. Was not a very good turnout. So they did want to do another community engagement on this to kind of see what people's ideas would like to be moving forward for the downtown district. So please keep that in mind. So, okay, so what you have before you was brought before the Planning Commission. This is to rezone a parcel of land on East Fletcher. This parcel is currently owned by K&K Veterinary, and what they're wanting to do is they want to sell this. Currently, it is zoned C1 light commercial and also agriculture. And what we have decided to do is rezone this whole thing to light commercial for the development of the new police department. This was agreed to and approved unanimously at the Planning Commission. And so we'd like to move this forward to City Council to vote on. I do have applicants here. They're standing in the back with guns if you want to discuss anything.
I'll go first. Well, I mean, I think everybody here on the council and most of the people in the room know how I feel about going from ag to commercial, right? But I think especially where this particular location is, we're not going to put some sheep out there. We're not going to put some cows out there. And I think this makes it more congruent with what's in the area already, right?
Correct.
And then especially for the long-term view of putting a police station there. So lest you wonder, I don't have a lot of heartburn over this one.
Thank
But the guns might have helped.
I thought so.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Council? Citizen comment?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Amber,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Moving to city council.
Next, we have a discussion on an ordinance to implement adaptations to the master street plan. Mr. Spurlock.
Thank you very much. Once again, what you have in your packet, we had 3 different adaptations for the master street plan. The first one that you see and we have on the screen to my right over here, be on your left, is adding a new road for Clint's, whatever you may want to call it. But this street will be a continuation of where it currently is going north to hit Artemani. This street definitely needs to be added as we have development in progress there to the immediate west. And so we ask that you guys, and we also do this for public comment and public viewing. We did that through the planning commission, did not have anybody object to what we were doing, but obviously there's still public input time. But this is something we definitely like to move forward to adapt. But the first one is adding Clinch Road all the way up to Arnamani. The second one that you will find is the one highlighted is one that was added in the previous comprehensive plan in 2023. This was originally added because we thought we were going to get a off-ramp from the new bypass, which we did not. And this right now, as it stands, goes right through people's yards and people's tracks, in which we've already done a few lot splits and had to, kind of circumvent the process. So we'd like to have this removed completely because it does not do us any good. So we're asking to be that relocated. If we want to relocate it, we're going to move it straight down to Liberty, but for the most part, we probably just need to remove that. And along with that, as you go down farther south, the next one that we will see here will be, it's the next slide, if you don't mind, Madeline, the next slide is adding what we see here is a minor arterial. This is West Liberty. As you can see from the part that's highlighted in the box, the one to the east is already arterial. And we'd like just to go ahead and move forward to make this a minor arterial. Just to us, it makes sense. As we go through development, it will definitely help our road system out. So these are the three main changes that we're going to look at doing for the master street plan. We'd like to have your blessing to move forward to city council to adopt it to our master street plan.
Citizen. Council.
Okay, you went through that a little bit quick. Explain this one to me just one more time.
The second one, what it is.
Relocated?
Yeah, this was one that was added in the comprehensive plan in 2023 with the idea that we were going to have an off-ramp at with the new bypass.
Gotcha.
That did not come to fruition. So this right now goes strictly through people's tracts of land, which we've, like I said, had to circumvent some when we did property tract splits. So we just like to remove this altogether since we're not getting that off-ramp.
So needs relocated.
Originally, I thought we'd just move it down to Liberty, but Liberty we're going to move as a minor arterial anyway, so we can just take this off.
Awesome, thank you. I'll make this motion to send it on unless anybody's got other comments.
Nope, I talked to Mr. Spurlock at length and I agree with what he's put before, so I'll second your motion.
Roll call.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Amber.
Yes.
Moving to city.
Next, we have a discussion and review of bids for museum repairs. Emily? No, not Emily.
Billy and Megan.
Okay.
I'm Megan McAfee. I'm the treasurer of the board. We got bids for we got 3 bids for all our repairs. Some of it was hail. Originally, when everyone came out, we thought it was all hail damage. Turns out that museum has 4 roofs on it. So, and none of them are in good condition. They're kind of all deteriorating. Looks like the thing could cave in. We had all of these places look at it. Some of them caught it and some of them didn't. The ones that didn't, we decided probably shouldn't be doing the work. So we looked through these bids. Now, it's kind of hard to read, but I can give you kind of a, like, a 10,000 level. So the Arcadia is going to be the cheapest one. It has no repair for the roof other than just the hail damage repair, which would be just fixing a roof on top of broken roofs, which to us doesn't make any sense. So it with siding and windows and roof and some other things, the total ends up being like 24 something. First Star does address like one of the other roofs. Their total is 28.5, and then Element addresses all 4 roofs, and their total is 33.5. Now, I must say though, Acadia is 24 whatever, but they can't match our siding. So it can't be 24 something because we would have to completely either paint or pick a new color for siding for that. So for us, we felt only one of these places would come back out and show us everything, and go over all the repairs again. We even asked everyone to come back out and show us, like, take a look at the roof again, because we're hearing there's 4 roofs on this thing. And they're like, well, we're not going to come back out. And so we were like, listen, we're just not going to do it. So we, after talking about it, we felt really comfortable with First Star. Here's now, I think the nitty gritty for you guys is the money. For none of this would come out of general budget. We would obviously be going over budget. Anyone who's getting repairs is going over budget, period. We're going over budget. We're taking it prepared, fully prepared and ready to take it from our savings account, which is for repairs and expansion. That's what it's earmarked for. That's what we're doing. So we would be using the insurance, which is 354, sorry, 18,354. That would be used toward it. And then our budget amount for repairs for the year is $3,000. So that would bring us to 21. So we're looking at a $12,000 gap. That $12,000, we already voted to pay it from our savings account. So we just need approval for that, or to be able to move it to council.
Citizen comment.
How are these bids advertised?
I'm sorry.
How were the bids advertised?
How were the bids advertised?
How were they? Yeah, method, publication.
Oh yeah, we have them all.
I understand you had them all, but
Yeah.
how did you advertise for them?
Just basically
Had
calling up
solicit-
whoever could come out and look at it. This is about the time when everybody was calling roofers in this part of the town. So, we didn't get a lot of replies back. So basically it was just us calling roofers in the local area here, trying to get somebody out to.
I mean, we
take care of it.
called, I want to say at least a dozen. I don't know how many you think is due diligence.
I'm just saying, the cheapest bid you got was how much? I was supposed to.
24 and change, but it didn't fix everything.
I thought that there was some law that there had to be a scope of services of outlining what you're seeking each roofer to do, not what they decided to do, but give a scope of services
We
and
did.
advertisement.
Okay, so the problem was the scope of services, when they came out, we didn't know there were 4 roofs. We thought there was 1 roof on the place and that the hail had damaged it, and it had.
Yeah, I understand that, but
So the scope changed.
The city
But when the
council,
scope
guys, you need
changes-
to get this meeting under control.
Yeah. When the
It
scope
needs to be the
changes.
same for everybody.
Point of order.
Yeah, comments can't be from outside.
I was simply replying to the recognized by the chair to make a comment, and I just asked how the bids were advertised. And
Point of order, point of order,
Point of
please. Megan, please address us.
Yeah, sure.
I understand, but if you could please address us, I'd
Yeah,
appreciate
sure.
that.
No, trust me, we called everyone that would answer a phone call at that moment. I work in property management. I'm not just like someone who just showed up out of the, into the stratosphere. I made sure I called people. I also, this is not a paid job for me. This is a volunteer position. Yeah, so we're the board. I'm the treasurer of the board. I do the finances. I watch the finances. I was really strict about saying that we would follow our budget, because we always follow our budget and we never go over budget, for one. And we should look it up because it's pretty impressive. So all we want to do is spend all our own money. That's it.
That's the kind of the point I was going to make. You're not asking us for any
Nothing.
money.
No, sir.
So,
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm still confused with how the Tontitown Museum fits into our culture.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah, listen, as far as I'm
and forgive me,
concerned, I would want
please.
it to be a 501c3 personally.
Yeah.
But it wasn't set up that way originally. And when Frank Maestri set it up with the city, it's set up in such a way that we can't really get out from under the city now. Not that I like it that way or don't like it that way. It's just the way it is. And it's the way it was set up. But right now, we just need to preserve what we have. And the building is old, very, very old. And we just need to preserve it so that it doesn't collapse and we lose all our artifacts.
I understand all that.
Yeah.
I get all that. And if you've got the money, that's wonderful. Here's where I'm confused. As recently as today, I got an email because there's like this, who gives evaluations to the one employee
Yeah.
that, right? Who does that? And
that's not
and in
an
the
us
email
question.
chain, I saw that the board does that. And I thought, well, why does the board?
It doesn't do that.
You don't, right, you
We
don't
never
work,
have.
you don't work for the city.
We've never
You're
given
all
a
volunteers.
review.
Okay, so for you to give
Once.
a city employee a review sounds insane.
Yes,
Okay,
we never have, and we would never, I've never been asked to do so.
okay, great. So if we as a city council are now talking to you, members of the board of the museum, you've got your own money, but is it because we give you money
No,
each year? Okay.
That's the money that we have earned over the years from things like the Polenta Smear and the Heritage Day.
That's not my
and-
question. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
no.
I'm sorry. I didn't
Oh,
ask.
that
I
money.
didn't ask well. So are you here today to talk about this because we give you some money every year? You're just here as a
They told us
courtesy?
we have to because it's above $20,000.
Who are they? Okay.
From my understanding, Angie.
Well, that might be true,
No?
but
I don't know.
I don't either.
Who makes the rule? I don't know. You guys, like, I am a volunteer totally. So I'm not a council member. I've never been a council member.
It's always been budgeted.
Okay, so we're going
Museum.
outside of budget. And so to go outside of budget, because it's above $20,000, my understanding
No.
was we had to get
No,
approval.
it's the city council, we have always budgeted money for the museum and.
Did?
Yes.
But this
we've-
is above that.
And it's not coming from our coffers.
not
Correct, it's coming from ours.
From their
Coming
coffers.
from their account.
Which makes me say, like, I mean, I'm not going to tell you that you can't go buy a new dress, Mayor Russell.
That's what, I don't know, I agree, we thought we could just do it, and we were told, no, you may not. You have to go to the Cal meeting, and you have to tell them why you want to spend this, and show them that you have your bids. And we did everything, and we're not spending any of the general fund money, zero, above our budget.
Let me make a suggestion. What if we cut ties, you guys become a 501c3?
We can't just do that.
Okay,
We couldn't support the museum completely from the income. So we're not making enough income to support the museum.
okay. Okay, and
That's a process. That's a can of worms.
okay.
And feel free to open it and look in.
Yeah.
But like, I'm the volunteer treasurer. I have a whole nother life. Okay. So I'm the volunteer treasurer that's here to tell you, we have enough money to do this. But I can't tell you how to 501c3 this thing and make it work.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a discussion for another day.
Another year.
But then that leaves us with, if we're going to continue to give you guys money.
Right.
And you use the money that you raise from Polenta Smears and all that stuff to buy your roof, which is great.
Yeah.
But then you're taking money from us to do another thing. Now I understand. So if you could use the money you raise from Polenta Smears and other things.
We don't have, it wouldn't cover it.
It wouldn't cover what?
It wouldn't cover the operating expenses.
Okay.
At the very
Do you have
least.
any idea off the top of your head? what
Yeah,
operating
the budget,
expenses
where's the budget?
from
101,
here.
I think?
are? Okay, so we pay $101,000 a year?
Yeah, we make about 10.
And about how many people come through a month?
We make about 10,000 a year.
Okay, and about how many people come through a month?
I don't run the, I don't run
I
it.
understand. Give me a ballpark. 17? 15, 12, 10
I don't,
on average?
I don't know.
Okay, 25 or 30 a month. Okay. So for 360 people a year, we as a city pay $101,000. And you guys make
Right.
about 10% of that back. I'm just saying, I
It's about,
get it,
it's
spend your money
about
the way you want to spend your money.
preservation, really.
No, I
more
get
than-
that.
I
History's
mean, ask,
important.
you
Yeah.
know, like all museums are kind of that way. Like, it's about preservation more than it is about, like, if people wanted to come, we would love for you to come. I would bet most people in here haven't come this year. And it changes. It's not like it's the same song and dance all the
Yeah.
time. It changes. So it would make sense for people to come in. I can't force people to come in, but I do want this heritage to be preserved, and I think it's worthwhile
I
to
agree.
do. Both of sides of
Hold
my
on.
family
Can I redirect
are
us
from
to
here.
the whole point we're doing this, please? This is
Wild.
totally off the subject. So I think the most important thing for us to decide is, do you need our approval to spend your own money?
They say yes.
And if they say, yeah, I
think-
I don't know
Pat
who
said
they
yes.
is.
Pat told me to come here
It must
and said
be-
it must be
It
on
must
the
be
county
yes,
meeting.
because we're giving them so much money. If they've got $101,000 that they're getting from us every year, for them to spend money that's in this other pile for another thing, and they're still taking $101,000 from us. That's what this is about. That's why I just stepped into that. I didn't mean to, but that's what that's about.
Okay, well, I just don't see where the problem is. I really don't.
I don't
I mean, I know you're funded by the city. I get all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they're not asking us for money.
No, they aren't, but
They already
They're asking
have
us for
it.
$101,000 a
I
year.
get that too.
I'm
but
not
that's a
asking for that
totally
right now.
separate-
I know you're not.
We have
I'll
been
come
that-
to y'all's like little meeting on Monday if you'd
I
like.
think I would like to follow up with somebody to see what the proper steps are on this. I mean, I'm comfortable with
That's
saying
what
that
Pat
you
told
can
us to do.
And he may have gotten advice from somebody, but he's not here to answer questions. So, and I know you guys probably need to
We
move
just want to
on
get
this,
it, we want to move because we're really scared
but
that
I
the
don't
place is going to
know-
implode.
And I don't even know that you need our approval, but I need to find that out.
Well, we thought we
So-
didn't. So originally, if you want to hear the whole story, originally, we didn't think we did because of what you're saying, because it's our money. And so we voted on it, decided on it, and we went to Pat and we were like, we're doing it. And
Yeah,
he
this-
was like, no, you're not.
Well.
Not
this-
without
this
approval,
is
you're not.
This is kind of a messy situation, not created by you guys. It's,
No.
but it is.
My great uncle, you know, I mean.
I know, it's,
And I
nobody's
apologize.
faulting
Nobody's
y'all
trying
for
to make
that.
this
We're just
difficult.
trying to make it right. We
And-
just want
right.
to do what's
right.
legally right.
So does anyone know the law? Do we not have to
No,
get approval?
we
That
don't
was
have-
my understanding.
well,
And my understanding, because Misty said
Again,
she went
there's
and
nobody
asked.
here who
I
gave you
thought
that
Angie.
understanding to answer the question. So that's our problem. I don't have a problem. I probably wouldn't have had a problem if you guys did it, but again, because you're tied to the city, it creates a little bit of a messy situation. We're not giving you any extra money.
So it's
I
not
get
messy in that way. Yeah, for us to just update the house wouldn't be a messy situation because no one in the city is paying for it.
Yeah, again, I completely
For the actual
understand.
upkeep
But,
of that,
you know, if
that structure.
If you're coming in with 3 bids, I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna probably have to look at what's the lowest bid, if it's somewhat comparable, and if you have to.
So I
parse
explained
out
too
those
that part of
differences.
it, they
And
didn't
I
even
heard
notice
those.
part of the roof.
I heard your explanation.
Yeah.
But, I'm kind of baffled as to why we're here, but I kind of understand, so I need to get clarification from somebody with.
I understand it's
legal
frustrating,
expertise.
but if we have to, we have to. If we don't have to, you guys can run off and do whatever you want with your money.
I mean, and maybe we can give you that answer quicker than the city council meeting. I don't know.
So do you want to move this forward to the city council meeting and then if we find out what is correct?
I think so. I don't even know who, I mean, I guess we'll have to ask the municipal league for their guidance on this.
There are other
coming up with-
museums that are also tied to the city, like Shiloh.
Totally irrelevant.
Yeah, that's
So
not relevant to what we're
just-
talking about here.
Well,
affect
but
us
no,
at all.
I mean, not completely, because I'm sure they've had situations akin to this.
I understand. Could you do me a favor? You've not been here before. Well, you have, but not in this capacity. We're not your enemy. We're the council.
you
Please,
seem
wait,
really
hang on,
angry
hang on. No, hang on.
Okay.
But you keep talking over us, which is disrespectful to the council, who you may or may not need our approval. So if you could just let Mr. Wiskoyak finish before you speak, or me, or anybody else, that would be wonderful. Carry on. Go ahead. You had something to say.
I'm done.
Okay, wonderful. I love that we have heritage, Tontitown heritage. I love Tontitown heritage. I think it's important. I don't want to do anything against that. To your point, if you've got money that you can spend on a roof, that's fantastic. If we have to approve that, I don't know why we wouldn't, except that if you guys then need to get $101,000 from us and that somehow ties us together and 40,000 of that could be spent on a roof, then it makes things a little more complex. So I understand you didn't set this up. You're a volunteer. I get it. I understand you're in a really tough position. The good news is that house is not going to implode because that doesn't happen with bad roofs. More good news, I've got a neighbor 2 doors down who's in commercial roofing. I met him the other day. His dog wandered into my yard. If you want to talk to him, I'll give you his number. There are ways that we can get that stuff handled. There is this other piece about how we're tied together, and we need to work all that out. That has nothing to do with you guys right now. But we do need to figure out if Pat's correct and there's some legal piece here. We've got to know that. And so what is being proposed right now is that we go ahead and move this to city council so we can choose to approve it or not, even before we know that. So again, we're not your enemy. We're not angry with you.
Okay. Sorry, it got way off track onto kind of like what I would call like a diverted track about the general situation with the museum that I've heard has had issues in the past, which to me, it's neither here nor there. I'm a numbers girl. So I'm here for the numbers, but I wasn't prepared to answer for the whole setup of the museum, which was kind of like I felt like was a little bit of a strike.
Okay, well, whatever you feel or don't feel, that you can have it. You can own it however you want. I'm not putting that on you.
No, you're not.
I asked a question.
It's just what you said, the way you said it.
I asked a question. You were fully prepared to answer it because you did. You answered the
I
question.
answered it the best I could, but
Great.
I couldn't answer it
I would like to call point of order. I'd like to call point of order. Did you make a motion?
Okay, that's fine. Mike was thinking about it.
Y'all have 2 separate accounts.
We have one account.
And Pat has control of that?
Pat has control. We actually, all the money that we make during the year doesn't go straight into that account. It doesn't go into until the very end of the year. It stays in general fund. You guys make money on it in your savings.
More than interest or something?
Yeah,
More than
interest.
likely, we would
We
have
don't.
to.
Okay.
It
And then it
sounds like
goes
we're
into-
going to.
And then
for
at the end of the
museum.
year.
Yes, I
Gotcha.
believe so.
Okay, hang on. How do we make money?
Oh,
Let me try
interest.
again. On what money?
On our money, the money we make during the
Please,
year,
let's
it goes into the
please.
general fund account, and that interest, that's interest earning. It's not interest
Okay.
yielding.
Well, I don't know. I'm a numbers guy, but if we give you $101,000, the interest we make on the 40 isn't us making money. Just a point of math. Math doesn't ever lie.
It does. It's just, it doesn't make 101,000. It doesn't do 1 for 1, if that's what we're trying to.
No.
Okay.
We'll talk about it another
Enough.
time. If you can come on Monday, that'd be wonderful. We can have a great conversation.
Please.
Enough. Whatever it is we're going to do, we're going to do it. No more conversations.
So are we picking one of these bids to move forward, or?
Or are we going with what?
We wanted First Star. That's what we wanted because they were the only one that addressed all 4 of the roofs and the deterioration.
Well,
We're
I'll
gonna
make a
use-
motion.
We're going to use the 18,000 from insurance.
Yes.
And then 2,100 from?
No, sorry. 18,000 from insurance, $18,351 from insurance, and then 3,000 from our budget, and then the remainder, the 12,000 remainder from our account.
Gotcha. That was, I got tied up on the 2,100. It's 3,000 from the budget and then 12,000 from savings.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Well, I'd like to make a motion, if no one else has any other questions, to move First Star bid to a vote at the next council meeting and get our questions answered in the
I
meantime.
think just based on what I heard, there's one account, I think they have to come to us for approval, but that's, that's probably right with one account. If there are two separate accounts, it might be something different. But yeah, I'll second your motion.
Roll call.
Mike.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mike. Daniel.
Yes.
Amber.
Yes.
Tim.
You know what, I'm gonna abstain and I'll vote at city council. Thanks.
Larry.
Yes.
Moving to city council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a discussion of a resolution for the removal of fixed assets for the fire department. Mr. Krug.
So I don't know, this stuff was never entered fixed assets, to my knowledge. We can't find it on the fixed asset list, but the items were over $1,000. They have reached their 10-year lifespan. We can no longer use them, so we would like to get them off the city books so we can dispose of them.
Citizens? Council? Expired. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Go, please,
So, there are
please.
several pages here. That's all like just part and parcel to this one thing, right?
Yep, so.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
So we went through and found a check register because we were looking for where these were purchased. We knew the year that they were purchased because we knew the expiration date on the gear. And we found a Community First National Bank in the check register, tracked it back down to where it was originally purchased, called them and got a copy of the original agreement with the serial numbers. And so that's what you have in front of you.
Okay, thank you. You put a ton of work into that. So what do you need from us exactly?
So it's my understanding that we have to get these items removed from fixed assets since they were purchased by the city and now they're no longer going to be in city assets. The problem is they were never entered into city fixed assets, but we want to make sure that there's no question that why we got rid of them. If anybody ever comes back and says, hey, where are these serial numbers and this fire gear?
Okay.
So there's a list of serial numbers on a spreadsheet. I believe it's up there. There's actually more than what's on here because there was some other gear that was purchased not on this lease agreement. So there's actually more than what's on the 16 sets that's listed. So to clarify, the spreadsheet has all of the numbers, all the serial numbers that we want to get rid of. The lease agreement only has 16 sets total.
I'll make the motion.
We're getting rid of everything on this spreadsheet that's on the screen right now.
I'll second that.
Okay, who did the first? And Amber, you second?
Yes.
Roll call.
Mike.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Amber.
Yes.
Daniel.
Yes.
Moving to city.
Next, we have a discussion of a resolution for reimbursement for improper representation from the Harrington Miller Law Firm. Daniel.
Yes, I want to bring this back up to council and see if we needed to take any action. But from my understanding, I guess Mr. Eichmann's last day was the 31st of October. But on January 29th, a letter of engagement was signed by the mayor, and it lacks a couple things. In this memo that was provided to us, it kind of puzzled me when I got it, and so I thought I'd bring it forward and have a discussion on it. There's a lack of council authorization according to Arkansas Code 1443-313. There needs to be the law requires that compensation for city attorneys be set by ordinance of the city council. And to this date, there is no ordinance or resolution that's been adopted by the city council. Also, within that letter of engagement, there is failure to perform contractual obligations. It specifies that the city attorney is to attend 2 regularly monthly city council meetings for a balance of about $4,500. Into a chart that was also added into your packet, it kind of gives the dates of the city council meetings and the COW meetings. There's 6 of each, and it has attendance records of the lawyer attending 6 of those. So that's about a 50% grade if you're to give it a percentage number. And in those fees, the $4,500, if we were charged in those 6 months, and that's just those 6 months, if we've got more we could add to it, there's a total of $27,000. So if you get 50% of that, that's going to give you $13,500. I don't know if that's something we want to seek restitution or reimbursement for. It kind of makes it sticky for situations like tonight. I think we've had some discussion here where we would have liked to have some legal representation with guidance of where we need to go, and we don't have that tonight. And this just kind of gets it's just one of those failed attempts where we've got something where we've paid out more money and didn't receive services or goods rendered. And this is an opportunity where I think we should discuss whether we attempt to recoup that $13,500, or I don't know, let bygones be bygones.
Can I speak?
Citizens first.
Frank Wagner, 409 Penzo. What Alderman Montez has described here is identified in the Arkansas Constitution as illegal exaction. In fact, if you want to bring this up between your legislative auditors, I think you're going to have the same mess on your hands you had in a recently settled lawsuit. I caution you to consider this very carefully, because this is taxpayers' money. And I ask you all to consider this. If you had a contract with a road paver and it was to pave 2 miles, would you pay him the same as he just paid 1 mile? So think on that, please.
Anyone else? Council? Mayor?
Yes,
absolutely. I'm so sorry. I just have a quick question. Where did this come from?
I'm getting ready to tell you.
Okay, and why wasn't that in our packets?
Oh, can I get one?
Yeah, I handed them down.
Thank you.
Why was this not in our packets?
Because I hadn't talked to the attorney yet.
Okay. Okay. Attorney Eichmann?
Yes, I talked to Attorney Eichmann, and I also called the Municipal League.
Okay. Carry on.
And I will
Thank you.
explain that
Yeah, go ahead.
shortly.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you for allowing me to clarify the facts regarding the city attorney engagement and the renewal process. I will outline the timeline, legal authority, and why our actions comply fully with the Arkansas law. 2018, original city attorney contract was provided, was approved by the city council. Here's the resolution. It was adopted December 4th, 2018. 2022, we had another contract, and it was from Mayor McCartney that was signed. And I have another contract that was signed, and I also have the statement of qualifications. So if you will look in, oh, by the way, I wanted to let you know, in each one of these contracts, it states all the letters of engagement that they required. For the first, when there was some changes on the second one and the third one, but they were all looked over by the attorney. I signed the January 29th, 2025. And in the second paragraph, it says, for the first attendance at regular meetings of the city council, for attendance at regular meetings of the city council, and in connection wherein advising mayor and city council on the city's legal issues. In addition, all other meetings, we will charge a fixed fee basis, $4,500 per month. So Mr. Eichmann was only required to be at the city council meeting per his contract,
And where is that contract?
right here.
Did you make copies of that for all of us?
I did not.
Could we get copies of that?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Could we-
Anything up here that you would like, I can give you.
Wonderful. Is there somebody who can make those copies now? Here's why I asked why they weren't in the packet. I appreciate these things. I haven't had a chance to look into them at all to see the veracity of them. And so I'm a little flat-footed without having copies of those. If we could please get copies, that'd be great.
Oh, he's only.
But thank you for going through the work to talk to the municipal league and.
So with that being said, wouldn't it be prudent just to table this until we have a chance to get all the documentation and look at it?
Yeah.
And I
Well,
mean,
I
understand your explanation. I get it, and that's fine, Mayor. I do appreciate that. And I'm not trying to cut your legs out from under you. But I think seeing the most pertinent, I think the 25 contract, if it does state that it's a renewal, it may make some of these things moot points.
Yes, it does.
There's some other semantic issues about regular council meetings, and that's maybe an argument for lawyers to make. But I'd like to see all the paperwork, and we can look over things and just judge the facts and go at it that way, if you don't mind. And we just table this.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to make sure that everybody had all of the information before it went on to the council.
Yeah, and that's, it sounds like there might be a lot, so we
And
might want to see.
if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
I would like to also let you know that Arkansas Code 1911-223 requires disclosure of total project cost, including extensions. Once approved, renewal extensions do not require separate city council action within the scope and the cost.
Okay. And if you have any communications, written communications with ARML that supports anything that you're giving us, I'd be much appreciative if you would include those in the packet of information that we get. I'd like to see the 2025 LOE. I'm not doubting anything that you're telling us, but it'll make everything, putting it in paper gets everybody an opportunity to look at it.
Absolutely.
And if there's anything else that council wants to look at between now and next month.
Make a copy of this.
Thanks, sir. Pass it down. Is that what you said?
And it seems like the 2018 original engagement may be pertinent to the issue, so we might want to see that. The 2025 LOE, I'm just making a record. I hope somebody's jotting down what we want to see, and any email communications that where guidance was given by ARML.
I actually spoke with them on the phone, but I can call them and ask to.
That would be helpful. Thank you,
Okay,
Mayor.
absolutely.
And that extension law, that was in the ACA? Mr. Mayor, that 1911-223, that was Arkansas code? No, okay. Very good, thank you.
I was just looking at 1443-314, which is authority for first-class cities to contract when an attorney, with an attorney when no city attorney is elected. And that does say, if no resident attorney of the city is willing to serve as city attorney, or if no attorney resides within the limits of the city, the mayor and city council may contract with any licensed attorney. It's that "and" that I want to be certain of. So yes, I think even if we can renew the contract, I think if there's a change in the pricing of the contract, it's probably helpful for us to know. But even if it's exactly the same, I think just to kind of keep us in the loop would be maybe not necessary per law, but over communication is always appreciated. But I'll absolutely look through these, and thank you so much for bringing those to light. I'm looking forward to finding out more.
Okay, there was a motion to table, I think.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Tim,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
And that is
Next-
tabled until
next
when?
Cal.
Okay.
Next, Cal. Next, we have a discussion on the validity of a letter of engagement. Mr. Montez.
That's the same letter of engagement that you just got passed out to you. I think this kind of goes hand in hand with that. If we table a discussion on reimbursements, we're also tabling the validity of the letter of engagement itself. So I would either say we either table this as well, since I believe that other table pretty much just passes on the reimbursement part of this discussion item that was previously discussed. This one would be the actual validity of that engagement.
Are you asking to table that, council member?
I would say that we probably should. If you're going to table the reimbursement discussion, the validity of the whole engagement kind of goes before that, you know.
Your item, if you want to table it.
I'm just saying, honestly, I wish they would have been more conjoined together, but nonetheless, there's the chart that I was referencing earlier. I don't know.
Can I step in and say something?
That would be to the chairman.
Speak.
The difference between a contract and a letter of engagement comes down to formality, legal enforceability, and scope. Though in some cases, a letter of engagement can function as a contract as it includes all necessary legal elements.
So, Danny,
I could make a motion to table to the next Cal.
okay. Do I have a second, or are we thinking?
I just picked out a word there, contract. And do we have a contract?
Absolutely. We just got one. That's what Brad went and made a copy of.
I thought that was the,
Is this the letter of engagement or the contract?
Brad just went to make a copy of.
No, I understand, but this thing here, is that a contract or a letter of engagement?
Well, basically, that's a contract / letter of engagement. I mean, it has all of the information in it.
I understand, but you just said that those two things were different things, so I'm wondering which thing this is.
It says the difference between the contract and the letter of engagement comes down to formality, legal enforceability, and scope, though in some cases, a letter of engagement can function as a contract.
I understand, I'm not trying to be belligerent, I'm just wondering, is this a contract or a letter of engagement?
That's his contract.
This is a contract.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
That's the contract that Mr. Eichmann had with the city.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I guess Danny's motion is going to die for lack of a second.
We don't have one.
oh, I'll second.
Now we do.
Roll call.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Move to Cal.
Next, we have a discussion of a resolution adopting articles of censure against Mayor Russell. Daniel.
Yes, we as a council have a duty to protect taxpayers and uphold ethical governance. In a moment, I will go over key findings from the audit. Also, I'll go over in a moment over the court rulings and laws in place that I believe have been violated. The censure is not a removal of the mayor from office, but a formal reprimand and an official entry into the records. I think we owe it to the taxpayers to show transparency, accountability for our actions, and I believe this will help restore confidence in Tontitown leadership. If we as a council don't see eye to eye on this, I understand, but I feel like it was my obligation to present this to you all. And I don't want to read the whole entire resolution, but I'll just go in and go over the key points. Angela Russell, Mayor of Tontitown, Arkansas, holds a fiduciary duty to uphold the Arkansas Constitution, comply with all applicable state and municipal law, and maintain transparency, accountability, and the governance and finances of the city. And whereas the Arkansas Legislative Audit Reports for fiscal year ending in December 31st of 2023 and December 31st of 2024 identified multiple material weaknesses, non-compliance issues, and statutory violations under the administration of Mayor Angela Russell. And whereas this mayor's subsequent actions and administrative practices have serious concerns regarding judgment, oversight, adherence to public meeting laws, and proper stewardship of taxpayer funds. Now, and this is just for me, it's not like this is adopted or anything, but now it is be resolved that the City Council of the City of Tontitown, Arkansas, that the following articles of censure hereby be adopted against Mayor Angela Russell. The basis for the censure, I'm just going to kind of summarize. We can dive into it if you'd like. But the first one is the unauthorized IT payments. I think we've talked about that at length. The improper legal disbursement funds, I think we've also talked about that at length. One that caught me that we haven't talked about was the backdated financial transactions that took place on January 22nd, where a check was backdated into December so that we didn't mess with the new budget and distorted the general fund's true year-end balance. The fourth one that might not be relevant to everybody or in front of mind is the illegal polling of city council members regarding the litigation with Waste Management. Upon around September 18th, I was approached via phone call with Mayor Angela Russell and was stated that she had already talked to a couple other council members. It wasn't clear if it was all of them or just a couple, but in that conversation that she had asked them what they thought could take place if a vote was brought up to council on the expansion litigation, and whether I would if I would be willing to hear out the attorneys on the appeal and move forward with that one way or the other. And then the fifth one would be the unauthorized appointment of the city attorney. Again, we've tabled that for another discussion, but it comes to my attention that on January 29th, that letter of engagement was in place without proper ordinance via the city council. And those are just some of the highlights that I've felt the need to bring this censure forward. There's multiple others that were found in the financial audit by the state that could have been in there, but I just didn't want to keep rambling on those offenses. And then on the second page, it goes into the applicable laws. First, you've got Arkansas Code, then you've got Tontitown Code, and then you have a couple Attorney General opinions that are spoken on matters of this. I think we talked about 1443-314 that provides elections of city attorneys in cities of the first class. And then 1443-315 authorizes the city council by ordinance to provide the appointment of a city attorney in lieu of an election, and to prescribe the ordinance, the attorney's duties, terms, and compensation. Therefore, appointment of the city attorney is lawful if authorized by ordinance of the city council. And then, like I said, in Tontitown, we have 30.50 and 30.52, where, it says there shall be a city attorney who shall be elected or appointed as provided by law, assigns duties including attending all city council meetings and reviews ordinances. Because 30.50 defers to law, the city authority is governed by Arkansas State Code 1443-315, meaning the city council authorization by ordinance is required. Whether it's not been required this whole time is a shame if it's gone this long, but I'm talking in regards specifically to the January 29th, 2025 letter of engagement. So with that, I'd seek a resolution for these censors to go into the public record.
Citizen comment.
Yes, sir. Mick Wagner, 49 Pennville Avenue. The mayor brought up several documents which I'm familiar with. However, she talks about a 2018 ordinance, I believe, that authorized Mr. Eichmann and his firm, and subsequent resolutions and speeches of the renewals. Well, I asked you to look at 1443, 314. Mr. Montez already mentioned 1443, 315, 1442, 112. In each situation, the mayor is not authorized to modify contractual terms. And when a contractual term changes, it does require an ordinance. And in fact, the resolution or the ACA code underpinning that was modified in 2023. So maybe we can talk about history, but I think today's current law applies. Thank you.
Mark Calcagney, 16 acres on Arbor Acres Road, Tontitown, Arkansas. I'm here today in defense of censorship. I'm going to read the definition, and I appreciate, Daniel, your explanation earlier. In law, censor is a formal public reprimand issued by a legislative or governing body to one of its members for disorderly conduct. Well, this member, I think you've already done censorship. How many times have you done it, censored this person? I believe that it was done at the last COW meeting, and here you are doing it again. The member admitted wrong, didn't do it deceitfully, didn't do it underhandedly, made mistakes. And also, there was a mistake that almost was made tonight. Thank you, Chief Jennison, because amendment number 1 almost was a mistake because somebody wanted to jump the gun, look before you leap. And I believe that's what this member did, the mayor, because wanted to do something. You know who else does that? Donald Trump, because makes things happen. So I'm here to say that, you've censored this person several times here, and why you're doing it again don't make sense to me. Thank you.
Anyone else?
We do have a comment online.
This is up to you guys to allow them to speak since you have already called point of order, so it's up to the chair to do so.
Speak carefully.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Appreciate you, Larry. The continual abuse and bulldogging of the mayor, like Mark said, it's unnecessary. She done what she thought was right at the time. We people now going back at the second thought of, nobody knows. Nobody knows all the details of what's supposed to be done until after the fact. And then they go in there and review all this stuff and try to figure out how to stick a knife in somebody's back that's trying to do the best they can for the city. I think that our mayor is a great mayor. I think she's a great person. And I think she has used her abilities to the best of her ability in the circumstances that have taken place in Tontitown today, yesterday, and in the past. The previous mayor that's there tonight signed an agreement with Waste Management that was not approved by the council. You want to talk about history? Let's go back to that. Thank y'all very much.
Anyone else? Council. Mike?
Yeah. A couple of things. One thing that I'd like to bring up about the articles of censure, a couple of these things had City Council been doing its job correctly. Item 1 and item 2 under the unauthorized payments to IT. Again, I pointed out Greg Lloyd a long time ago, but I didn't do any follow-up to dig into more to find out what was going on. Maybe that could have been nipped in the bud earlier. We were put on notice by a citizen of number 2 months before anything happened, and we didn't do anything about it. So we are accountable for that failure as much as the mayor is. Number two, or number one, maybe so. There was a lot of, we hashed that out here in the chambers multiple times. And it's, it's an ugly, it's a black eye on the city. It's a black eye on a lot of different people. We need to try to, and I think we have reached out to try to recoup whatever funds that we can, but that may be reaching into a black hole. Number five, may or may not be a moot point just based on the discussions we've had. The other thing, I have no problem with you bringing these, but in my research on articles of censure, they typically don't prescribe remedies or corrective actions. It's just a formal statement of displeasure with, and you've laid out your bases for why you're doing it. But so I think Section 3 does not belong. And lastly, the articles of censure or resolution of articles of censure, it's not just used against the mayor. This could be used against any one of us. So I think the mayor's been beaten up quite a bit. There have been a couple of lawsuits, one unsuccessful. There's another one that's going on. So in a certain ways, I understand the point that Mr. Calcagney made that there has been a lot of public rebuke of the mayor. And we up on the council have rebuked her as well. I don't know that it's the record's made here as far as what you've stated and why you stated it. I don't know that I'm willing to adopt this formal resolution, however, for my reasons stated.
So to me, Mayor Russell has admitted to, outlined, and addressed her mistakes and oversights in the October Cal meeting. And I just don't think the censure is necessary. And I agree with Mike down there. His points.
Mr. Burrs, anything?
Yeah, Councilmember Montez, I listened intently to your points. I read this over. I've heard Mr. Calcagney, Mr. Levitt. I've heard from our council members here, Mr. Westkowiak and Mrs. Ibarra. But when it comes down to it, I can't necessarily dispute any of these claims. I love Bobby Russell. I love Angela Russell. I think they're great citizens. They're good neighbors. My wife adores Angela Russell. But we aren't discussing Angela Russell, our friend. I think, to Mike's point, there's a lot of that stuff that we allowed to sort of go by because we didn't want to hurt our friend Angie Russell's feelings. But we're talking about the mayor of Tontitown. We're talking about an evaluation of her performance in that position. And there have been a lot of egregious errors. Some of them are listed here. There are others. And I think we need to distance ourselves from any support of the issues, but not from the person, right? I still want to support the mayor, but I can't, in good conscience as a fiduciary, condone the actions. So I do think that we need to publicly call out errors from any leader, to Mike's point, whether that's a council member, it's the mayor, whomever. I do not like the idea of censuring our mayor, but I think it might be appropriate and I think it might be beneficial for three reasons. If we don't censure any employee after egregious errors, we make ourselves complicit in the misconduct. If we don't condemn the actions, we condone them or we allow them. Number two, I think the mayor has had an inordinate amount of pressure on her these last number of months. as her mistakes have come to light. And there are some very angry citizens who are here at every meeting. They're infuriated by the misconduct. Perhaps we can help our mayor move past the wrongdoing in the eyes of the citizens if we take this action, and we can all move on with a fresh start. Members of Congress are censured from time to time. Even U.S. presidents get censured from time to time, some more than others. And the slap on the wrist is administered and life goes on. By censuring Mayor Russell, we can move past the issues and we can allow Mayor Russell to get back to the work of running the city. Number three, it's good for our citizens. We've had some loud and persistent voices calling out the mayor publicly. Censuring the mayor allows the citizens to righteously air their justified grievances and, more importantly, move on. I wish we were not in this position, but I believe it's probably best for our council, for our mayor, and for our citizens if we move forward with the articles of censure. I agree with Mr. Waskowiak. I don't think we need Section 3. But I would like to add one more thing. My wife always says that failure isn't final unless you allow it to be. There is always hope for a fresh start. There's always hope for a change of behavior, an opportunity to do better. And I think the mayor can move past this mistake and have a bright future ahead. We're not giving up on the mayor as a person. And I hope she can move forward with honesty, transparency, and a renewed passion for the role as mayor of Tontitown for the remaining 13 months of her term.
And I think I understand all viewpoints here, but we've taken her to task several meetings, several times. And as Mike also said, we have some responsibility ourselves for not overseeing some things or letting some things slide. So as I say, I think she's faced enough, and I am not in favor of a resolution to do that. That's just my personal opinion, so I guess we're going to need a motion in a second to see what's going to go on.
For the aforementioned reasons, I would be willing to make a motion if we strike Section 3.
Roman numeral 3 or Section 3?
Section 3.
I think it's Roman numeral section. I think it's Roman numeral 3.
I'm sorry.
The whole,
The entire
the
section.
entire section.
Section 3, which is
Okay,
page 2.
Oh, okay.
gotcha. The entire thing.
With subparts.
Correct. All of Section 3.
10-4, I get that.
Okay, a motion's been made.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Amber.
No.
Daniel.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Mike.
No.
Larry.
No.
Goes nowhere.
Next, we have a discussion to adopt a resolution to not appeal the Waste Management Eco Vista expansion litigation suit. Mr. Montez, one more time.
Yes, last time, hopefully. So on the October 7th cow, I brought up an agenda item to take its position on whether we were to continue with litigation with the waste management expansion. It's been brought to us several times by city admin that we need to take a stance on whether we are going to continue to fight this fight or if we're going to stop. And at that time, we did have legal representation, and at that cow, we were told that the time had passed before that we would need to file that appeal. So no action was taken. Then I've got a email from on October 15th from the mayor saying that the deadline was actually October 21st. That has since passed now as well, but we got a couple emails from Mr. Latham, one on October 24th, one on October 31st, about a meeting that James and him had with Waste Management regarding pretreatment enforcements and the host fees that we passed. And it was brought to my attention by Mr. Latham that, and he brought it up tonight, that Waste Management is not entertaining either one of those until the threat of litigation is removed. So I thought I'd bring that back up tonight, even though the October 21st deadline has passed on this litigation. I don't know what they're looking for on us. If that date has truly passed, if they're needing something concrete to where they'll sit down at a table and negotiate and honestly, I don't even think there's really a negotiation that needs to happen. We've pretty much outlined that we're the controlling authority and that the pretreatment implementations were in there from the beginning and never enforced. And then if we're the hosting city, then, you know, we need to enforce the new host fee. But with them not coming to the table because of the threat of litigation, I feel like we might entertain taking a stance to where he can have that tool on his tool belt to bring to the table and move forward with discussions with them.
Citizens.
Mark Calcagney, 16 acres, Tontitown, Arkansas. I want to apologize for Kenneth. He's got three people in his family that are sick and truly believes that it's the landfill. And I'm telling you, I have some people in my family that aren't feeling well either when they leave. So I understand the train's left the station on appealing it. But, you know, I don't know if Chief Jensen, on your cruisers, does it say protect and serve on your cruisers? Well, I don't know if the city's really protecting and serving with the way we're handling this landfill. Think about people getting sick. Protect and serve. Think about this. Some of you live close to the city of Fayetteville. Some of you live close to the city of Tontitown. Think about if the city of Fayetteville or the city of Springdale put a sane asylum, a strip joint close to your house, and it was affecting you and your family. So and you made a good decision tonight, I believe, to allow public comment, because you should have a right to be able to say how you feel about a city that has a business that's affecting your family, affecting your neighbors, and affecting the citizens here. So protect and serve is what I'll say to you all. Thank you.
Mick Wagner. I didn't notice any sources, but dates were given. I spoke to Judge Treat's clerk, and she informed me that the deadline for appeal was November 14th. I also asked her what an appeal would cost, and she estimated the filing fees would be 10 grand. Now, Mr. Calcagney, which I'm not addressing in any negative terms, has a lawsuit brought. I don't think the city of Tontitown in this position as a resident
Point of
and
order.
taxpayer, I don't see the value to continue to beat a dead horse. So with that said, I believe it's time to call the fat lady has sung.
Tammy Graham, 1984 South Penalto Road. You've had the ability, the authority to address the lift station fumes for as long as you've had control authority. There are people in this room who have gone to the emergency room because you didn't know you could do that. As far as waste management goes, can you look at what you can do by your ordinances and by law? And as far as being a taxpayer, I'm not in agreement that you have my permission to spend my tax dollars once again trying to your lawyer and the judge and calling Channel 5 News out here. If it weren't for waste management and all the lawsuits, there wouldn't be much to this administration. Focus on what you can do, please, and what you have authority to do. And I'm sure there's a lot. So no, I'm against it. Not with my tax dollars. Not anymore. You've lost, and you'll lose again. Address the lift station, address the trash, get the tipping fees up. And if you want to milk that cow, then milk Waste Management, but quit milking me and the other taxpayers that are done. Thank you.
And we do have a citizen online.
Gonna allow it?
I will allow carefully.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Can you hear me this time?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. There is no way Tontitown should allow or release any ability to sue Waste Management for any reason. This, Miss Brown, it's, Tammy, whatever her last name is, all of them are sitting there breathing this stuff every day. And Waste Management's going to hold out saying that they're not going to do anything until you say you're not going to sue them. How does that make sense to a common person? We know there's 5 chemicals that was tested the first time. It's been tested 3 times before this year. This year, everything was great because they give them a month a head start to get everything cleared out and figured out what to do before they done it. They did not retest the hot spots. There was a hot spot right at the corner of Clearwater and Harbor Acres. They moved the testing half a mile down the road and probably 40 foot higher away from the low area where the heavier than air vapors go. The vapors are heavier than air. They follow that path from that emission point across behind all these fields, these open fields, and right down that valley right in front of my house and straight across Patrick's house. All them kids that live across there, all these kids, if you start looking at it and you start putting pencil to paper, we have kids with arthritis. We have kids with weird fevers. My family's sick. That's as far as I'm going with that because it's none of his business. He can dig in it if he wants to. So anyway, there is a lot of stuff that's going on. Never release your rights to sue them. Pollution, killing individuals. That's all I can say. I'm getting upset. Waste Management is a polluter. It's small, and everybody that works out there needs to go to jail. Thank you.
My name is Jared Thompson, 804 Bossinger. And I want to say that I'm thankful. I'm thankful to live in Tontitown. I'm thankful to own a business in Tontitown and own property in Tontitown. And I love this community, how it's taken me in as an outsider almost 25 years ago. And appreciation of each of you and the stands that you've taken and the challenges that you've accepted in these positions. I'm grateful that we took a stand against Waste Management, and I want to thank you for taking that stand. My house is close enough that I experienced the fumes, the smells of the landfill, and it's disturbing and it's irritating, and it's frustrating that we know they have the ability to control the things that they can control because at times they do make those controls. It's obvious by the timing of when they choose to address the blowing debris, when they choose to address the fumes, when they choose to address all the challenges that we continue to scream for them. That's frustrating to me because I know that there's a solution. I hate it when people bring problems that there's no solution to. That's when it's frustrating. Because what are you going to do if you can't present a solution? Well, what my encouragement to you is to take a stand. It's obvious the path that has been taken this far. We don't have the support of the government offices that would address these issues. And that's frustrating. That's a whole nother subject. And we can do that through the channels that we need to do. But from a council, I would challenge you to look at the opportunities that you have to enforce current and to address them and hold them accountable for what we can and not give up. Don't let them stand from a situation that they know they can fix, they know that they can address, and help us as average citizens in the town and save the town that we love and the things we love about why we're here. And so that's my encouragement to you all is find the things and the battles that you can win with waste management, because the government side of it from a federal standpoint, we know it's not going to happen. But this is a scary piece that they're trying to push you into from a standpoint. We all know if you make a public stand that we will not sue you ever, then it basically gives them an open opportunity. Thank you.
Anyone else? Council? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
I'll go ahead, Mayor.
What I was going to let you guys know that I did speak with Ross on the October 22nd, which was the deadline to file the appeal. And he is going to get the paperwork in, and we will be receiving that as soon as he's able to get it done. So we don't need to do anything else. I'm reading his text right here. I understand and appreciate you lying to pursue this for the city. I'll get everything taken care of and then in my final bill shortly.
So you filed that without getting council's approval?
The appeal's done, right?
The appeal's done, meaning what? It's over? That's it? We can't do anything going forward? Okay, so we missed that. I hear the emotion. There's plenty of it. I've got it. I understand. I get it. I appreciate you apologize for others. You don't need to. But I agree with you. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I live really close to the landfill. I smell it. I think it's a nuisance, and I think it's beyond that. We have made many mistakes in this city. We had an interim mayor who signed an order to extend that without it ever getting to us. I never saw that. I would have voted against that. There are lots of things that I wish we could do differently. One of my concerns about pursuing litigation is we could take this all the way up to the Supreme Court and potentially lose, right? I'm hearing this from people that are saying, fight them, fight them, fight them. Hey, what if you lose and you end up paying everything, right? I mean, there are really, really bad things that can happen. But I also agree with you. I believe it was Ms. Graham and your last name again, Taylor, was? Thompson. Yeah, there are things that we can do, I think, and we need to look into that. And we need to make sure that we're doing what's right. Mr. Calcagney, I appreciate the protect and serve. You're right. I don't want to continue to throw tax dollars after a losing battle. I'm not certain that we had the best attorney, the right attorney. I don't know. I'm not an attorney, so he's better attorney than me. But I don't think we roll over and die either. I think we kick and scratch. I think we can become a nuisance as well. But for any organization to say you can't ever sue us, I mean, that's just silly in business. So
let me clarify that.
Okay. That's been taken out of context?
The litigation that has upon us, which we had to do with the expansion.
The stuff that just went away?
No.
Okay.
I just want you to know. I mean, if you read what's on here, it says, not appeal waste management, expansion litigation. It doesn't have anything to do with error. It doesn't have anything to do with.
So then,
because I really, we've got a lot of stuff out here. And as you know, the air stuff really is in control of ADQ. The city, the only air control that we can do is at that lift station.
And
And
we're
again, I
we're
told you,
taking steps.
15 years ago, the city should have required pretreatment, and they didn't. They didn't,
Is it too late to do that now?
and we're going to require it. Yes, that's the discussion we have. with
You're saying
them.
15
Okay.
years ago we should have, we just talked about this
So,
last week.
so, let's get things straight from here. There's only certain things the city can do.
But in as much as we can, do you feel that we're doing everything we can in that direction right now?
Well, let's just take a look at it, just to give you an idea. I mean, if the
I'm not saying you're not, I'm
landfill,
just
no,
asking a question.
I'll just give you, if the landfill closed today, everybody'd be happy. Guess what? That leachate is going to be there for 50 or 60 years. And guess what? The ammonia content is going to be higher each and every year. So if you don't address it now, we're going to have a lot of problems.
Good.
And there's always going to be air issues anyway if the landfill closes. So I'm looking at it, guys, as long-term. I told you I've looked at some different ways to be able to move traffic. We are trying to get, and I hope to be able to get, and the mayor saw the email, I'm hoping to get a meeting with the US EPA guy and have them come and take a look at what's going on with the air sampling that's happening. But, I don't know. I just tell you, James and I met with them. This is what they said. They're not going to look at the the hosting fee unless they know for sure that the city is not going to reappeal that litigation. Does that answer the question?
Well, no, I think it opens a new can of worms. So they're saying on this point, on only this expansion suit, I think they're trying to sucker us. We are the host.
Well, I mean,
we tell them the way things are going to be, and they either stay or they go. Am I simplifying it too much?
Let's see what they come up with.
Okay.
Because I can tell you that MOU that were signed was basically blackmail. So you got to be careful about what you sign with them.
And that MOU was signed when?
2021, December 2021, yeah.
Late December 2021.
That was blackmail. I'm going to give you this, you don't do this. That's blackmail.
And who signed that? Just clarify. Okay, thanks. Well, he's here tonight. We don't always get to see him, but I appreciate he's here. Okay, thank you. So Danny, Mr. Montez, Councilmember Montez, just so I fully understand, you're asking to adopt a resolution that we not do a thing?
That we do not appeal any litigation against the Waste Management Ecovista regarding expansion litigation.
Which is a moot point now since the appeal deadline has passed.
Well, as you heard from a citizen that they've spoken to somebody and said it was November 14th. I've been told at the last cow that the deadline was already passed and we didn't move on it then. I'd hate to come to this cow and take no action and yet them still not do anything until, I guess, the November 14th passes.
Okay, so if our attorney is wrong on that, then it proves my concern that we might have the wrong attorney.
That, and then, you should have got, I printed out the email that was given to us by the mayor on October 15th. It says it was given to Amber, it was given to Misty, it was given to Larry, it was given to Mike, it was given to Tim, it was given to me. And it says in the printed from the email, it says October 21st. Now tonight at this meeting, we've heard that she's texted the lawyer, Ross, and he says October 22nd. So I've heard, first Eichmann told me it was passed already in a moot point back in October. Now I've heard in an email from the mayor it was the 21st. Now I'm hearing tonight it's the 22nd, but then I'm also hearing from a citizen that it's November 14th. That's too many answers. Point of order. That's too many moving objects, too many dates.
Who's online?
We just muted it.
Thank you. If you don't mind, I can speak on that. I was told that the deadline was the 21st, and that's what I told council. That's what I sent the email out as. Ross sent me a message, and he actually he called me and sent a text and said, because of some filing issues, they changed it to the 22nd. So that's why there was 1 day difference.
Again, I'm having an issue with believing what date is what date, and rather than regret not doing anything in October for the cow, and then now bringing it here to this meeting with the cry from city staff that we put this on the agenda again, so that they can begin to make progress with the discussions with waste management. I've put it on here to present to council.
Yeah.
Please, Mike.
Okay, I think I made my point on this clear a month or so ago, that I think continuing the appeal of this particular suit is not worthy of pursuing. Some of the issues that you guys are addressing, I hear you, are air quality issues, which the city of Tontitown has absolutely no control over. That is run by the state. It's ADEQ. We may not like how that happens, what they do, how they respond to complaints. I get that, but we can't go out there and say anything to them about the air quality. It's completely taken out of our hands. There was a planning commission meeting that addressed some of the landfill use only items, and there's some things that were on there, and the attorney pointed out point by point, we can't do the city's got no power. There was a lot of them. We're not relinquishing a right to sue. I mean, this issue is only particularly about the expansion. And Attorney Eichmann explained, I thought, very clearly at the last meeting that pursuing an appeal of this was not impossible, but an almost impossible battle. And we are working on doing the things that we can do with the pretreatment and with the hosting fees that we can do. I'm sure if we had could go back in time 50 years ago, things would change. But I mean, we are where we are. We hear you. We understand. I live on Morsani. I live close enough too, but it's we're doing what we can do. That's what we're doing. I would like for, and I know when this came up the last time, I would like for CTH to come up to tell us their findings in the study that they did. The state, I think, paid $600,000 for this study. They conducted it over several months. I know the last time that I asked about having somebody from them come to speak to us, it was going to cost a couple of $1,000s. Yeah, that's expensive, I know, but I think to maybe assuage some fears, some concerns, to answer some questions that the public would like to have answered about this report, I think it is money well spent to have these guys come up here and validate their testing to everybody. And they can be questioned about, if somebody doesn't agree with their methods, point them out. But I'd like to hear them explain their findings. I think it's fair to all of us in the city. We want to hear what they have to say. I don't know if other people would agree with that, but I'd be willing to, have them come up and explain that to us. But, I think I've said enough. I'll quit.
Amber, anything?
Larry, may I approach? Got one little statement.
Okay, one more statement, Anna.
Thank you all for this discussion tonight openly. I appreciate it all. The one thing I want to ask, and is there any, if we're going to drop this appeal, which I think we're probably chasing a lost cause, is there another expansion in the future? Because they've got acres over there. And where do we stand on those? Is there something we can do before it gets snowballed to this? And Mike, I think that's a wonderful idea about having the air testing company come, because there's lots of questions, you know. It makes more sense to me if you're going to make it, do the air test, if you air test it in the same place, so you've got something to compare to. Thank you guys. You guys have really helped, and you're all appreciated for what you do and working together and staying up there. Thank you.
All right. Still, we need a resolution or a motion and a second.
Mr. Montez, do you have a resolution, or is it something?
No, sir, I don't have a resolution brought forth. This was a very last minute thing that I took to the clerk treasurer to throw on, so I don't have any kind of resolution.
I trust that you can get us one.
Next meeting.
I mean, we may be doing this, like I said, it may be a moot point if the date's the 22nd is correct.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, regardless, you know, yeah, November 14th is going to pass in between then.
Right. So I'll make your motion to adopt the resolution to not appeal the expansion litigation.
Second.
Roll call.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
No.
Larry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Amber.
Yes.
Moving to council.
Now we've come to the comments from our council members. Mike.
I'll keep this short. It's gonna go back to the public comment section. I think we all realize the importance of the freedom of speech and allowing people to speak. Maybe we should do a better job of enforcing the rules that are in place for that. We're held to a little bit different standard up here, and you may see as personal attacks on things that we do. We don't want the public to be fighting with each other, however. I mean, you can come at us. I mean, we get it. We're public figures. You know, there's a Supreme Court case that offers a lot of leeway to what people can say about elected officials, public people, and that's just the way it is. But what we don't need to have are citizens attacking one another with their comments. You know, that's, I think, the intent here. We want to have civil discourse, civil debate, and I think we abide by that up here for the most part. That's all I've got tonight. Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Tim.
Tuesdays are always hard. They're always hard. I don't like Tuesdays. I should, because God put me in this role, and this role is important. So for that, I'm thankful. But it's hard. And I want to support all the people that I have the opportunity to be on this council with. I want to support the citizens. The problem is, citizens only agree with me about half the time, maybe less. We truly are trying to do the best we can, and I understand people don't always agree with us. People often get very vehemently angry with us. But to Mr. Wierzchowiak's point, if we have to do something like raise a point of order, it's not for any other reason than to try to keep some semblance of order. Articles of censure, I want everyone to know I support that woman, but there were some mistakes made, that's all. And I hope that every Tuesday at the end of the night, when I feel battered and bruised and exhausted, and I'm sure you all do too, that you can all go home and rest well, and at least know that whether you agree with us or don't agree with us, I can honestly tell you, every person here is trying their hardest to do their best for you. And if you don't like any of us, that's fine. There's an election a month from today, and you can change it all. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your comments. They were wise, they were appreciated, and thank you for being here tonight.
Amber.
Some good discussion here tonight. This was a very difficult meeting. Well, I guess I'll start off by thanking the fire department. They were called out to my uncle's house. His vehicle caught fire in the shop. And so they, responded quickly, and Chief Krug was also out there. So I do appreciate them for their service to our community and what they mean to us. Halloween in the Park was, I feel, a great success. The Parks and Rec Board worked hard on that, and it was a big team effort. I don't know, would you say, Chief, maybe same size crowd, bigger crowd? What would your opinion be?
It's like years past, could be a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's always hard to tell, but it was a success. So thank you to everybody that helped with that and that participated, and thank you for everybody that came out tonight.
Danny.
I was grilling most of the night.
Yes.
You were. Yes, you were.
You didn't have time to look up.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It was a big meeting, long discussion, and I appreciate it all. We couldn't do this without your input and your comments, so feel free to reach out via text, email, or in person, and have a great night.
And I appreciate everybody. And I run, quote, being chairman of the committee of the whole, I conduct a pretty informal meeting. Robert's rules of engagement or whatever kind of go out the window with me. And and sometimes people appreciate it, and sometimes I think I should go back to strict standards. But I want everybody to, get their thoughts out. And so I do appreciate them. I do. And I do appreciate everybody coming out and hope that we satisfy 51%. 51. That's all we can ask for. Thank you. Mayor, I'm sorry.
I want to thank every one of you guys that came out to support me tonight. I appreciate every one of you. I know that there's several that I've spoken with, and I appreciate you. Thank you. I'll do the best that I can, and want to let you guys know, don't forget, this Sunday, November 9th, is going to be the Polenta Smear. It's going to be over at the St. Joseph Tontitown Parish, and it's going to be from 11 to 1. And there's going to be a lot of good restaurants that have provided food, Venetian Inn. I know there's Red Door, Mama's East. I know I'm forgetting some, but don't forget, it is great food over there, and all should come and you're welcomed. And thank you all.